attached himself to the people that we are here to talk about him. He was the man who came in on 5th of July 1977, and Pakistan is facing today many problems: extremism, overpopulation, drug, law and order. These are all, in my opinion, related to General Ziaullah. Because if he had not allowed the capitalist societies and Western democracies which are championed, and we are talking in House of Commons, allowed them to fight communism from the land of Pakistan, then we would not have this difficulty we are facing today. And I think sometimes I get baffled and very upset when I think about this. When I buried two of my colleagues who were victims of Ziaullah, Mia Iqbal, Senator, and Sayyid Javed Akhtar, day before yesterday, on 5th of July, and I would have held this meeting on 5th of July, but it was Saturday. And I didn't want to hold it on 7th of July, because 7/7 is another important day in our British lives. So I held it today, and it is clashed with a very big event in Foreign Office today, where I have sent about 150 MPs and Lords who are supporters of Tribal Solidarity to attend that. I hope some of them will turn up back here, but I doubt, because in Lancaster House, have anybody attended Lancaster House?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure some of you. It is such a beautiful building with much nicer food and drinks that people don't like to leave that place. So I doubt they will come back, but that was the reason I held it. I think everybody is allowed to speak before our main speakers come, and anybody can say whatever they want to about Ziaullah. I believe that Ziaullah has pushed Pakistan in a wrong direction. He reversed a liberal, progressive, enlightened, progressive Pakistan. And I know some of our colleagues are sitting here, who have seen, or their parents have seen, and our parents have seen, Pakistan being breaking up. Saundra said, नाहिद से ऊपर बैठूं, ये मैं सीटें बैठ रहा हूँ अपने दो स्पीकर्स के लिए, आप कहेंगे. So I think we have seen Pakistan reversing from a progressive liberal Pakistan to a very close, narrow-minded, extremist level. I remember when I was growing up in 60s and we were going to school, we used to have no quarrel among Shia Sunnis. They were living in harmony. There was no quarrel in between Brahmis and Mirzais. I still remember I lived in Chinyot and I grew up in Chinyot. The next neighbor of us was Rabwa. I still call it Rabwa because Mirzais headquarters was there, and I know hundreds of people will come there every year and celebrate their yearly meeting, and they used to stay with us. We never differentiate that they are not human beings. I think Pakistan today is divided into non-human culture and non-human values, in my opinion, and that is by Ziaullah. Mumaji, you have to sit wherever you get seat. These are for two speakers. Who are the main speakers.
Can we go and sit at the back?
Anywhere. There are, except these two seats, anywhere you can sit. And I am very thankful that you have got a group of friends here who came with your Maharaji. Thank you very much. I've seen him after a long time. I think I will stop here and I will ask my colleagues to speak. I think you have just seen Sandra Satterlee has prepared her speech. I'm someone who never prepared my speeches, even if I'm standing in much more rigorous sort of meetings. I always speak extensive, but Sandra is very good. And can I announce that before I forget, next Monday, we are having a meeting on Tony Benn's memorial meeting. And if you are able to come, please email, because there will be a list of people who will be coming. And again, it will be served on first come, first served. We have only 70 seats in these rooms. So please try to come here 6:30, and if you are stuck in the queue, I think you will not be allowed in after 7 o'clock. So try to come if you want to come a bit early. So can I now pass on to Saundra Satterlee, who is the founder member and chairman of Central Executive Committee of Third World Solidarity, has visited many times Pakistan, luckily not during Zia-ul-Haq period, but afterward. But she knows about Zia-ul-Haq because she has met many leaders of Pakistan. So Saundra Satterlee.
Thank you very much. I am not Pakistan. I'm not an historian. I'm a friend of Pakistan. And therefore, when I do research to respond to Mushtaq's request for me to speak, I want to, as a journalist and an academic, want to be cautious in what I say. So I'm not going to speak from the cuff. I shall have a few words that I hope will be interesting. I think they're relevant to what is happening in Pakistan today. I just like to throw in a Zia-ul-Haq comment, which I have not incorporated in my comments today, which is a good friend of mine, colleague and member of Third World Solidarity, is a filmmaker who sends his apologies tonight, Ian Studdard. He is still making films these days for Al Jazeera, in the past for BBC and ITV, but he interviewed Benazir's father prior to his execution. And Ian Studdard sends apologies tonight, so that's an inadvertent Zia-ul-Haq connection. Taking up the theme of tonight's meeting, since partition, as we all know, Pakistan has had a troubled history. Most apparent is the aftermath of Zia-ul-Haq. The ebbs and flows of the country's political, economic, social, and ideological history post the Zia dictatorship are well documented. So too, well known in the public domain is Pakistan's relationship with Afghanistan during the Russian invasion, alongside the diverse roles of the United States and the ISI. Benazir Bhutto once expressed concern to me over a cup of tea, her worries about the Talibanization of Pakistan. At that time, Benazir wanted me to coordinate the aforementioned Ian Studdard to revisit Pakistan and do a film about the Talibanization. That was around 2001. Nowadays, widespread sectarian violence dominates the country with, it appears, the Tehrik Taliban at the helm. Innocent civilians, meanwhile, are dying through US drone attacks in the north, and of late the ongoing onslaught into North Waziristan by the Pakistan military. Not only terrorists and counter-terrorist violence, but unexpected natural disasters have plagued the country over the years, causing widespread displacement, disease, and death. What then is the good news, if any, on the horizon post-Zia-ul-Haq? One possible green shoot may be economic, though not in terms of rising GDP. As everyone knows, GDP can go up alongside poverty. And in this country, we have an increasing number of food banks and an increasing number of socioeconomic divisions. And the GDP is going up, much like Pakistan with regard to the GDP, in inverted commas. The green shoot I refer to in Pakistan is referred to as the generalized system of preferences, special incentive, known as the GSP plus status, that grants Pakistan duty-free access to European Union markets, announced last December, on the 13th of December. The GSP plus status attaches a number of protocols that must be fulfilled prior to implementation. 11 of these relate to sustainable development and good governance in Pakistan, while 16 protocols are concerned with human rights and labor laws. I shall refer briefly to the latter only. For me, a major contradiction arises when you consider the signed, quote, signed, ratified, and legal base, unquote, dates for certain laws vis-a-vis implementation and compliance. This will be clear as I carry on. In other words, my concern is about laws already on the statute books that sit largely ignored. Protocol 8 illustrates this point. Protocol 8 refers to the employment of children. For instance, it states, quote, Convention concerning minimum age of admission to employment, number 138, which was signed and ratified on 6th of July 2006, but which is based on the Factories Act 1934. If a law was passed in 1934 restricting the employment of children, what has happened to its implementation since then? And given widespread reported cases of child labor in Pakistan, even since 2006, the date upon which Protocol 8 was ratified, the same issue arises about implementation and compliance. Exact statistics are hard to come by, but from a number of august bodies, such as UNICEF, the Human Rights Commission Pakistan, the U.S. Annual Human Rights Report, Save the Children, and the International Labor Organization, it is estimated that there are 11 million child laborers in Pakistan. One source puts child labor at its most insidious in Multan, which is an important production center for the export of sporting goods, such as footballs, apt for the moment with the World Cup, I think. It is important to note that the ILO identifies poverty as a single core cause of rampant child labor. After all, given the alternative of education, what parent in the world would opt to send a child to be exploited in a sweatshop? I would say none. To return to my main thesis regarding implementation and compliance with regard to the GSP plus status accorded once these restrictions are fulfilled by the EU, Pakistan has passed a plethora of laws in an attempt to limit child labor. Not only the Factories Act of 1934, there is the West Pakistan Shops and Establishment Ordinance in 1969, the Employment of Children Act 1991, Bonded Labor System abolition in 2002, and relatedly Punjab Compulsory Education Act of 1994. Unfortunately, these laws appear to be ignored, and too many children of Pakistan continue to work in squalid and oppressive conditions. Following the same logic as child labor in the marketplace is a different issue of workers having the right to organize in the first place, and secondly, to practice collective bargaining over pay and terms and conditions. A number of protocols, and I'm not going to detail them, but a number of protocols relating to the right of workers to organize and to collective bargaining raise the same issues as child labor insofar as implementation and compliance of GPS plus are concerned. Only one example. Protocol 14 states, Convention concerning freedom of association and protection of the rights to organize, 1948, signed, ratified, 1951, in force. Trade union rights violations are rampant in Pakistan today. A document by a research organization in Karachi draws attention to union activists being arrested, beaten, detained, and union busting tactics are prevalent. Whilst I'm aware that Pakistan had an active trade union movement in the late 1960s and early 1970s, it is my understanding that once again Zia al-Huk had an absolute fundamental and long-lasting impact on slashing union power. And from my position as a UK-based journalist, Pakistan paints a bleak picture for journalists. Insofar as, for example, the International Federation of Journalists reports more deaths this year in 2014 to date of journalists, the working journalists, that is, in Pakistan than anywhere else in the world. To refer again to GSP plus status for Pakistan and the possible economic green shoot this may provide, the main beneficiary of GSP plus scheme is the textile garment sector. Some analysts estimate around 15% growth in this sector by 2015 as a result of GSP, the latest GSP, which would add around US dollars 1.5 billion to Pakistan's total exports. Leather goods, plastics, and processed fruits are among other sectors set to benefit. Apart from goods, I'm sorry, cut this down a bit. I'm nearly at the end. Sorry, okay. On the matter of existing laws and lack of implementation and compliance, I should like to quote Huma Price, Third World Solidarity colleague, a close friend, and an award-winning barrister, who says, and this is Huma, in my opinion, the reasons for lack of implementation is because the people who are supposed to implement these protective laws and the people who actually perpetuate abuse of these self-same laws are the same. That is, the factory owners, those with vested interest, the owners of the means of production. They are the ones who exploit labor, including child labor, right, left, and center, end of quote. In conclusion, I can only hope that the generalized system of preferences, special incentive plus, will provide a meaningful step toward good governance in the Pakistan labor market, and that the long list of legislation to protect workers, ranging from child labor through to the right of collective bargaining that already exists, inverted commas, will no longer be ignored, but will come to the forefront of a more equitable Pakistan, which in turn will be good for the economy and for the people. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Saundra. And sorry, I have those two are going to speak, so I thought to ask them to stay here. I know that to reverse a society, as I said in the beginning, and thank you very much, Saundra, and I hope you will give us this to journalists that they can publish it, and I hope Huma will put it on our website. If this is the Third World Solidarity point of view on Ziaul and how the country is being reversed into 360-degree backward. And I think to reverse a society, you need to, number one, silence people who are having the difference of opinion. And it is happening even today in Pakistan, because some of the, I should say, harsh liners are trying to silence the media. A few years back, it was tried on judiciary. And I think Ziaul did a thing which was in 60s, in 70s, the trade union and students movement were the two very bases of politicians being groomed. But he banned both, and they are still today in a democratic Pakistan banned, student union and trade union. So Saundra, thank you for mentioning it, that it is not only that we have to reverse some laws which are draconian laws, but we have to, and we demand today from here, the present democratically elected government, that they should immediately lift the ban from student unions and trade unions in the Pakistan. They can work as normal. And as she mentioned, today journalism in Pakistan is so dangerous that I think it is one of the top 10 countries, or possibly 1 or 2 countries in the world.
Not the worst. So far this year today.
Worst. So it is the worst country. Can I now invite, and I'm inviting first a woman, because I know they are least represented, and Third World Solidarity is very, very happy to welcome them in this meeting, that they are here. Naheed Hayat, who is the Secretary General of Pakistan People's Party Women Wing UK. No, he's
Not
young.
at the moment, because we have dissolved all the seats. Reman Malik Saab recently, and I am part of the ad hoc committee. And
Hafiz साहब तशरीफ लाइए.
so I thought I'd correct that. Before I go on, I would like to just point out to my learned friend Saundra, for whom I have deep respect, that it is not Multan where the footballs are made with Sialkot. And also there was no child labor involved at this time. We had some allegations previously, but it's been all ironed out, and a lot of female got those jobs, and which is very welcome. Moving on, as Mushtaq Lasharie sahab was just saying, just to bring home what was being done to trade unions in Pakistan, I would like to read out a few articles of martial law. Hukam number 5, order number 5. जो शख्स मार्शल लॉ एडमिनिस्ट्रेटर से इजाज़त लिए बगैर ट्रेड यूनियन, स्टूडेंट यूनियन या सियासी पार्टी के जलसे मुनज़्ज़म करेगा या उसमें हाज़िरी देगा, 10 कोड़े और 5 साल कैद की सज़ा. Anybody who attends without the permission of martial law administrator any trade union gathering, student union gathering, or any other political gathering, he will be deemed to get 10 lashes and 5-year imprisonment. Martial law Hukum number 13. Martial law Hukum number 13. फौज पर तकरीर या तहरीर में किसी तरह की तनकीद की सज़ा 10 कोड़े और 5 साल कैद. Any criticism of army brings 10 lashes and 5-year imprisonment. Martial law Hukum number 16. फौज के किसी रुकन को चीफ मार्शल लॉ एडमिनिस्ट्रेटर या जनरल ज़ियाउल हक के खिलाफ वरगलाने की सज़ा मौत होगी. Death penalty for trying to incite any member of Pakistan Armed Forces against General ज़ियाउल Haq is death penalty. Those were the times that we all lived under. I was a young child, a young student, so it wasn't a big impact. But as I grew up, how it impacted me is that Hudud ordinance that he brought in, which was a shameful act in Pakistan. Pakistan was a very progressive country. It was a very tolerant, civilized country, where women had long tradition of being part of the government, being part of every fabric of life. And suddenly, we saw a lot of changes. It started off from television. The newsreaders were told to cover their heads. Certain terms were changed. Also, when he brought in the Hudud ordinance, that was the epitome of injustice to women, and it set us back. I think we'll never recover from it, because it is still continuing, although it's been changed slightly, but still the main law is there, and it is still impacting the lives of millions of Pakistani women. Hudud ordinance is basically, if you are victim of a rape, you have to provide 4 witnesses. What kind of ridiculous law is that? In Quran, there is no punishment for rape, because apparently a woman is not supposed to go outside alone without her chaperone, so if she gets raped, it's her fault. That is the kind of laws that we had to live with and dealt with. 1977, being a young child at school, I still remember the people who loved Pakistan People's Party, who belonged to Pakistan People's Party, and they saw what was done to Mr. Zulfikar Ali Bhutto. On drummed up charges, he was hung against all the protest of all the international community. Nothing was, heard. Our cries went unanswered. He set Pakistan on a path of self-destruction that I don't think, as Mushtaq Lasharie and Saundra said, is reversible. It is a process that will take centuries to come back from. I think we'll have to get to the ashes before we rise again, because this has become a cancer in our society. It is eating on every aspect of our lives. All the terrorism stems from extremism, religious intolerance. As Mushtaq said earlier, we grew up in a Pakistan where Shia or Sunni, we never knew. We coexisted. We loved, I am a Sunni child, and we used to do sabils. Sabil is a water pot that we keep there for all the mourners who pass through in their processions in Muharram. Our mothers went to Shia households. They celebrated it together. They offered their, charity, their respects. We never felt any difference, but now the Pakistan is so polarized that we are totally broken down society. Everybody, first question they ask is, are you Muslim or non-Muslim? And the second is, what is your sect? What has my sect got to do with my humanity? With my being Pakistani, with being Christian, or with, with whatever sect I am. I also come from Sargodha, which is very close to Rabwa. We grew up with all our MD students. Our teachers were MD. We never felt any difference, and all of a sudden now they are being murdered. Recently there was a case of a visiting doctor that was shot through the heart, and he was there to do the charitable work for Pakistanis. That is the kind of intolerant society TOaha has left us with. I don't know how long it will continue. I hope, against all the hope, that we will fight to, redeem ourselves of all the demons that he's left us with. But I would like to end with a little sher, which one of the famous poets wrote in Pakistan, and he was also imprisoned and he was also lashed in public, Habib Jalib, who doesn't know him. He said that, Zulmat ko ziya, sar sar ko sabah, bande ko khuda kya kehna, because he was acting like God. Diwar ko dar, patthar ko gohar, jugnu ko diya, kya kehna.
Thank you very much. And ladies and gentlemen, we are very lucky that now we have our guest speakers here. Hafiz Hussain Ahmed immediately sitting on my left because he's a Baloch. And then Nisar Khoro, who is a senior minister for education, and he is trying to educate Pakistan, and today he's going to educate us as well. I'm very thankful to Qureshi Sahab and Umar Qureshi Sahab who have managed to bring Hafiz Hussain Ahmed Sahab, but I'm very thankful to Hafiz Hussain Ahmed Sahab who has traveled all the way from Scotland. We spoke on Monday and he said he has some commitments. He will try to change it, he'll change it and come here. I'm very thankful to him. And also I'm very thankful to Dr. Naveed Anwar, who doesn't stop speaking while he is listening as well, because he's a doctor, and usually doctor and barristers can listen 350 words while they can speak 125. So when he's speaking, he's also listening to you. So don't worry about it. He is brought. Now my next speaker again, and as I said, because my main speaker are both men, I'm going to stick with women this evening, that they can speak before these beautiful young men. Can I ask Barrister Huma Price, who has visited Pakistan many times? She attended our annual dinner and she kindly has invited many of you this evening to speak on, and as I said, ladies and gentlemen, we are mostly from Pakistani and Bangladeshi and Indian or Asian communities, and we understand Urdu apart from two people. One is Kefale sitting at the end and one is Saundra. So anybody who wants to speak in Urdu and would like to express more powerfully Ziyarat in today's Pakistan, they are allowed to speak in their own language, or Punjabi or Urdu or Sindhi or whatever they want. Huma Price.
Thank you very much, Mushtaq. Assalamu alaikum. Namaste. Sat Sri Akal, Harry. Harry has come because I invited him. He's very interested in Pakistan. I wasn't expecting to speak. Can I just say that Mushtaq told me 5 minutes ago that I have to speak. And I'm actually quite grateful for the opportunity, because there are a lot of things I want to say. And I never get the chance to, and sometimes I deliberately miss the chance to, because I feel this is not the right time to speak. I can only talk about my personal experiences because I'm not a politician, I'm not a journalist, so I haven't lived in Pakistan since I was 10 years old. However, I have visited Pakistan in the last 6 months twice and spent a good 2.5 to 3 months there. And I think I want to just share some observations with you. I grew up as a child in Pakistan from the age of 0 till 10. And after that, I visited after Zia had come. And the one thing that I noticed very strongly, and I don't know how many of you share this with me, that before Zia, religion used to be between a person and their God. And it was a very strong bond. It was religion, and our bond with our God is a very strong personal bond. After Zia, religion became something between people and other people. So it was very much a social ritualistic religion that then started. And I think, I watch a lot of films, and one film's dialogue that is stuck in my head is the film Khuda Ke Liye, where Nasiruddin Shah said, "Mazhab mein daadi hai, magar daadi mein mazhab nahi hai." So people should have the freedom to do or dress, and particularly dress as they wish. When I was growing up, there were 3 or 4 main things that we couldn't do, really. We couldn't drink, we couldn't eat pigs, and we couldn't be obscene in our dress. And from what I remember, my grandmother, my mother, my aunties, they all dressed very decently. There was nothing un-Islamic about the way they dressed. And the one thing that struck me about Zia was the way he legislated around women's dressing. And again, this all brings down religion being something that's carried by women. Women are the ones who have to be responsible for men's morality, for men's morals, and for the family's honor. And it seems like men can get away with it because the women are carrying the responsibility. So, like you said, TV artists in particular found it was ridiculous in plays they were getting out of bed in a scene and they had to have their heads covered. The way he took it to a ridiculous extreme, but not only that, he also banned saris from public functions. So he really felt that if he could sort out the women's dress in Pakistan, he sorted out half the problems that Pakistan had. Now, I know that there is a lot of anti-Zia feeling in what he did, and all of us feel it to a great extent. But personally, I feel just as concerned about the other side of the effects of Zia. Whilst it's true that a lot of people have become very fundamentalist, as we call it, and they feel that the physical manifestation of religion is even more important sometimes than the actual faith that you're supposed to have in your heart. What has concerned me is that I've found just as many people, and particularly in Pakistan, who've actually gone away from religion. And this is quite alarming in a place like Pakistan, because in Pakistan, a large majority of the population is working class, and many of them work as servants. And when I visited Pakistan twice in the last 6 months, the thing that really shocked me was the treatment of the servants by the middle classes. They are not human. They really aren't seen as human. They're ill, they're pregnant, they're made to work around the clock, there are no hours, there are no holidays. And this is directly related to people going away from religion because they don't seem to have any humanity left in them either. They're not all balanced people who can put religion and humanity in it. And when I went there, what one of my friends said to me was, whatever you do, just be careful what you say about religion in front of our servants, because you don't know what they do. And people who follow religion are seen as really dangerous people by a particular class in Pakistan. And I'm personally quite concerned about this growing trend, and I'm very concerned about what is happening to the working classes in Pakistan. Like you, I would also like to end with a share, another one, Faraz. शिकवा ज़ुल्मत शब से तो कहीं बेहतर था, शिकवा ज़ुल्मत शब से तो कहीं बेहतर था, अपने हिस्से की कोई शम्मा जलाते जाते. That's all we can do. We can all do our little bit. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Minister Umar. Now I'm going to shift to my friend, whom I remember. He was traveling during the Taliban government in Afghanistan, Mullah Umar's government, and he was traveling from London through Libya to South Africa, invited by Nelson Mandela. And he came to London to travel to Berlin, and I took him to the Foreign Office. And we spoke there for 2 hours, the British Foreign Office, and I will start now. शिफ्ट टू उर्दू. हम फॉरेन ऑफिस में गए, उनको एक्सप्लेन किया कि ये जो आप तालिबान को आइसोलेट कर रहे हैं, इसका नतीजा बहुत ख़तरनाक होगा. आप उनको फोल्ड में लें. अमेरिकन जब उनसे डायलॉग कर रहे हैं, तो आप ब्रिटिश जो कि 99 में जब जो बेहतर जानते हैं उस खित्ते को, जो अफगानों के साथ लड़े हैं कई जंगें, आप क्यों नहीं उनसे डायलॉग करते. तो मुझे याद है कि उन्होंने कहा कि बहुत इंटरेस्टिंग, और वो बिल्कुल उन्होंने विदिन 2 आवर्स मीटिंग टाइम दिया हमें. वेरी सीनियर फॉरेन ऑफिस के लोग और मिनिस्टर को जो रिप्रेजेंट करते हैं डायरेक्टली फॉर एशिया. ہم نے ان کو بہت ایکسپلین کیا کہ آپ کو ایک کوئی ڈائلاگ کا چینل کھولنا چاہیے. یہ میں بات اس لیے بتا رہا ہوں کہ میرے نیکسٹ اسپیکر وہ ہیں جو اس سے واقف ہیں اور جنہوں نے اور ہم نے مل کے یہ کوشش کی تھی کہ جو ڈائلاگ ہے وار کی نسبت وہ زیادہ امپورٹنٹ ہے. آپ اپنے دشمن کو بھی ڈائلاگ کے ذریعے انوالو کر سکتے ہیں, ان کو انگیج کر سکتے ہیں, اور اگر وہ انگیج ہو جائیں تو پھر آپ ان سے اپنی بات کر سکتے ہیں اور ان کی بات آپ سن سکتے ہیں. آئیے ہم بہت عرصے بعد حافظ حسین احمد صاحب آج کل ذرا آئسولیٹ ہیں اور میرا خیال ہے کہ ان کی پارٹی نے ضیاء الحق سے کچھ بینیفٹ بھی لیا تھا, چونکہ مجھے یاد ہے کہ ان کے کچھ لیڈران اس کو جیل میں تھے اور پھر وہ رہا کر دیے گئے تھے ضیاء الحق کے آنے پہ. تو آئیے ہم حسین احمد صاحب سے سنیں کہ یہ کیا کہتے ہیں ضیاء الحق اور آج کے پاکستان کے بارے میں.
تو بات کے بعد بجائی جاتی ہے.
ہم نے ویلکم کیا.
بسم اللہ الرحمن الرحیم. شروع کرتا ہوں اللہ کے نام سے جو بڑا مہربان انتہائی ہمارا قابل احترام برادر مکرم نثار کھوڑو صاحب, مشتاق لاشاری صاحب, خواتین و حضرات, میرے لیے یہ بات باعث فخر ہے کہ میں ایک بار پھر برطانیہ کے پارلیمنٹ کے اندر آپ سے مخاطب ہوں. میرا تعلق بلوچستان سے ہے, 40 سے 2 بار الیکٹ ہوا ہوں اور یقیناً میری اردو بھی گلابی سی ہوگی. میں پہلے ہی اگر کوئی ایسی بات ہو معذرت چاہوں گا. میں سمجھتا ہوں کہ ضیاء الحق کا ماشاء اللہ ہو یا ایوب خان کا ہو, اس سے پہلے سکندر مرزا کا ہو, یحییٰ کا ہو, پرویز مشرف کا ہو, ماشاء اللہ ہے اور ہر ماشاء اللہ قابل مذمت ہے. ضیاء الحق کے ماشاء اللہ کے دور میں یہ جو میری گلاسز اور اینکیں ہیں یہ اس دور میں جیل میں جانے کے بعد مجھے لگی ہیں, پہلے میری آنکھیں صحیح تھی. لاشاری صاحب تو اس طرف آ گئے, لیکن ہمیں جن حالات میں چھوڑا الحمدللہ میں کوئٹہ کے جیل میں, میرے ساتھ جاوید بھی تھے, جمال جویدی بھی تھے, ہم نے اس ماشاء اللہ کا مقابلہ کیا. سوال یہ پیدا ہوتا ہے کہ ہمارے یہاں ماشاء اللہ کیوں رکھتے ہیں. اگر ہم بنیادی طور پر اس بات کو دیکھیں تو دنیا میں افراد جمع ہوتے ہیں, خاندان بنتا ہے, خاندان قبیلے بناتی ہے, قبیلہ قوم, اور قوم پھر اپنے لیے ایک ملک حاصل کرتی ہے, اور جب ملک حاصل ہوتا ہے تو پھر ملک کے لیے فوج کی ضرورت درپیش ہوتی ہے, پھر اس کے لیے فوج بنائی جاتی ہے. یہ ایک طبیعی اور نیچرل پروسیس ہے جو ہر ملک کے حوالے سے ہے. ہمارے ہاں صورتحال بالکل مختلف رہی ہے. ہمارے ہاں ملک بننے سے پہلے فوج تھی اور ہمارے ہاں فوج موجود, برٹش آرمی ہمارے ہاں تھی, اور ہم نے ملک تو بنا لیا لیکن آج تک قوم نہیں بن سکی. ہمارا پہلا آرمی چیف پاکستانی اور مسلم نہیں تھا, پہلا وزیر خارجہ کی یہی صورتحال تھی, پہلا وزیر قانون بھی اسی انداز سے تھا. لیکن میں سمجھتا ہوں کہ آج ہم 2 باتیں عرض کریں گے کہ اگر اس میں جرنیلوں کا قصور ہے تو میں بحیثیت ایک سیاسی ورکر ہونے کے برملا اس بات کا اعتراف کرتا ہوں کہ اس میں اگر ان کا قصور ہے تو سیاسی رہنماؤں کا بھی دامن اس حوالے سے بالکل صاف نظر نہیں آتا. اس لیے اور اس کی بنیادی وجہ یہ ہے کہ اگر آج ہم لندن میں بیٹھے ہیں اور بنیادی طور پر مجھے کہنے دیجئے, میں 20 سال پاکستان کے دونوں ایوانوں میں رہا ہوں, ہمارے ہاں جتنے بھی مسائل و مشکلات ہیں ان کا 90-95% بین الاقوامی معاملات سے تعلق ہوتا ہے۔ اگر افغانستان میں سوویت یونین کے حوالے سے ایک معاملہ چل نکلنے کی بات ہوتی ہے تو پھر ہمارے فوج میں اس جنرل کو ہمارے سیاستدان جو سے اپنے 9 جنرلوں سے سپرسیڈ کر کے لانے میں کے لیے مجبور ہوتے ہیں، اور پھر بین الاقوامی سطح پر ایک ایسے شخص کو لایا جاتا ہے جو نہ مولوی ہے، نہ اس نے دین کے حوالے سے کوئی علم سیکھا ہے، نہ کوئی بزرگ ہے، نہ اس کی معلومات ہیں، اس کو لا کر بین الاقوامی سطح پر ایک ایسی کوشش کی جاتی ہے کہ جہاد کے اس عمل کو ابھارا جائے، کیونکہ اس وقت یورپ اور امریکہ کی بنیادی ضرورت یہ تھی کہ افغانستان میں سوویت یونین کے خلاف جہاد کو ابھارا جائے، اور وہ کام جنرل ضیاء الحق سے دیا گیا۔ اور میں یہ کہنے میں حق بجانب ہوں گا کہ اگر وہ بیلنس جو ہمارے اس پورے خطے میں سوویت یونین اور امریکہ کے 2 سپر طاقتوں کے حوالے سے تھی، اگر اسے ڈسٹرب نہ کیا جاتا تو شاید آج یہ صورتحال پوری دنیا میں درپیش نہ ہوتی۔ اس لیے اور جب امریکہ اور نیٹو کو حملے کی ضرورت درپیش ہوئی ہے، پھر اسی فوج سے پرویز مشرف کو سامنے لایا گیا۔ یقیناً ہمارے بہت سے محترمہ خواتین اور حضرات یہ کہتی ہیں کہ جناب ضیاء الحق نے اس نقطہ نگاہ کو آگے بڑھایا اور پرویز مشرف نے اس نقطہ نگاہ کو آگے بڑھایا، لیکن میں بصد احترام کہوں گا ذرا آپ دیکھیے کہ وہ کس کے اشارے پر اور کس کے پالیسی کے حوالے سے باتیں آگے بڑھائی گئی، کیونکہ اس وقت صورتحال کچھ اور تھی، اور آج جو کچھ ہمارے قبائلی علاقے میں ہو رہا ہے اس کی بنیادی وجہ یہ تھی کہ وہاں پر جو لوگ آئے ضیاء الحق کے دور میں، عرب تھے، چچن تھے، دیگر تھے، ان کو باقاعدہ طور پر قبائل میں لے جایا گیا، ان کو نیشنلٹی دی گئی، اور ان کو وہاں پر ان کی شادیاں اور رشتے کیے گئے۔ اور آج جو صورتحال بگڑی ہے اس کی بنیادی وجہ یہ ہے کہ جب عالمی حالات بگڑتے ہیں تو پاکستان میں ہماری پالیسیاں بھی تبدیل کرنے کی کوشش کی جاتی ہے۔ لیکن مجھے کہنے دیجئے، آج اس برطانیہ کے اس ہاؤس میں بصد احترام میں کہوں گا کہ یہاں کہا جاتا ہے کہ برطانیہ جمہوریت کی ماں ہے۔ میں نے بڑا سوچا، اس لیے شاید ماں ہی یہاں کنفرم ہے، لیکن میں کہنا چاہتا ہوں کہ اگر پچھلے دور کو دیکھیے، آج ہماری پارٹی حکومت میں ہے، بالکل لاشاری صاحب میرے اپنے پارٹی سے جو اختلافات ہیں وہ کسی سے ڈکی چپی نہیں ہے، لیکن آپ اس بات کو گواہ ہیں کہ اگر 11 مئی کو الیکشن ہوتے ہیں ہمارے پاکستان کے، اور 2 اپریل کو 3 اپریل کو جناب نواز شریف صاحب برطانیہ آتے ہیں، آپ تمام اس کے گواہ ہیں کہ برطانیہ آنے کے بعد ان کو وزیر اعظم کا پروٹوکول دیا جاتا ہے یا نہیں۔ اگر ان کو انتخابات سے 1-1.5 مہینہ پہلے یہ پروٹوکول دیا جاتا ہے تو اس سے پتہ چلتا ہے کہ ہمارے ہاں جمہوریت اور انتخابات کس انداز میں قرار پاتے ہیں۔ یہاں لندن میں جب نواز شریف صاحب تھے، جب مختوم امین فہیم تشریف لائے اور یہاں پر ہم نے ملاقاتیں کی، اور پھر یہاں پر پیپلز پارٹی اور مسلم لیگ نون نے ایک میثاق جمہوریت کی بات کی، کیا خدا را بتائیے، کیا پیپلز پارٹی ہو، مسلم لیگ نون ہو یا MMA ہو، انہوں نے اس میثاق جمہوریت کے ایک شق پہ عمل درآمد کیا ہے؟ میرا جواب نفی میں ہے۔ میثاق جمہوریت پہ ہم دستخط کرتے ہیں کہ ہم فوج سے بات نہیں کرتے ہیں، لیکن بدقسمتی یہ ہے کہ فوج سے بات کیے بغیر بھی سیاستدانوں کا چارہ نہیں ہے، اور کل بھی بات ہوتی رہی، ابو ظبی میں بھی بات ہوتی رہی، جنرل پرویز مشرف بیٹھے تھے، اشفاق پرویز کیانی بیٹھے تھے، اور مرحومہ محترمہ تھی، مرحومہ کو احساس ہوا اور فوراً ہی چند دن کے بعد انہوں نے اس معاہدے سے اپنے آپ کو الگ کر دیا، لیکن اس کے باوجود وہ معاہدہ چلتا رہا، 5 سال تک وہ حکومت موجود رہی۔ اس کے بعد ایک ابو ظبی میں ہمارے تقدیر کا فیصلہ ہوتا ہے۔ اب پچھلے دنوں ابو ظبی میں ہمارے فیصلے کے بعد جدہ میں ہمارے تقدیر کا فیصلہ ہوتا ہے۔ ہمارے ہاں جتنی بھی تحریکیں چلتی ہیں ان کو لندن پلان کا نام دیا جاتا ہے۔ آج اگر میں یہاں بیٹھا ہوں اور ہمارے نثار کھوڑو صاحب بیٹھے ہیں تو کل کہیں لوگ یہ نہ کہیں کہ ایک اور لندن پلان تشکیل دیا جا رہا ہے۔ اس لیے میں گزارش کروں گا کہ یقیناً یہ بات طے ہے کہ ہم نے اس بنیادی اصولوں پر آگے چلنا ہے۔ میں وہ شخص ہوں کہ جس نے ماشاء اللہ کے دور میں کوئٹہ جیل میں وقت گزارا، اور جب میں غریب گھرانے سے تعلق رکھنے کے باوجود میں پارلیمنٹ کا ممبر بنا، اور اس وقت ہم نے محترمہ سے جا کے بات کی، اور میں وہ شخص ہوں جس نے نوابزادہ نصر اللہ خان کے بحیثیت صدر کے کاغذات نامزدگی میں نے جمع کرائے، اور میرے پہلو میں جناب جسٹس سجاد صاحب بیٹھے تھے، ہمارے یہ وسیم سجاد صاحب جو اس وقت چیئرمین تھے سینٹ کے، انہوں نے جا کر اس غلام اسحاق خان کے کاغذات جمع کرائے، اور رات کو پتہ چلا کہ جناب اسلم بیگ صاحب نے برملا یہ بات کہی کہ اگر پیپلز پارٹی کو حکومت چاہیے، اگر محترمہ وزیر اعظم بننا چاہتی ہے تو پھر اسے غلام اسحاق خان کی حمایت کرنی ہوگی، اسے نوابزادہ نصر اللہ خان کی حمایت نہیں کرنی۔ اور یہ بات ہوئی، یہ بات ڈیل ہوئی، اور یہ مشتاق لاشاری صاحب اس کے گواہ ہیں۔ جب میں یہاں پر اس ٹائم میں ایک جمعہ کے خطبے کے بعد یہ تشریف لائے اور محترمہ مرحومہ سے میری بات کرا دی، اور بے نظیر مرحومہ نے مجھے کہا کہ آپ صاحب آپ آئیں، اور اتوار کے دن غالباً ہم چلے گئے، کھانے پہ محترمہ نے ہمیں بلایا۔ اس وقت اس نے یہ بات سب کے سامنے، مشتاق لاشاری موجود تھے، واجد شمس الحسن صاحب موجود تھے، انہوں نے ایک بات کہی، اس نے کہا حافظ صاحب میں یہ کہا کرتا تھا پارلیمنٹ میں کہ آپ نے نوابزادہ کو چھوڑ کر غلام اسحاق خان کو جنرل اسلم بیگ کے کہنے پر آپ نے صدر بنایا، تو انہوں نے اس بات کا اعتراف کیا کہ یا نہیں کیا، انہوں نے کہا کہ اگر میں آپ ہی کی بات مان لیتی اور میں غلام اسحاق خان کو صدر نہ بناتا تو آج مجھے یہ دن دیکھنے نہیں MMA کے حوالے سے بھی یقیناً اس مذاکراتی ٹیم میں ہے، میں شامل رہا ہوں، لیکن میں کہنا چاہتا ہوں کہ خدا را آئین کے حوالے سے یقیناً آج پھر ہم ایک بندگری میں پہنچے ہوئے ہیں، اور میں برملا کہنے کی کوشش کر رہا ہوں کہ اگر جمہوریت جتنی بھی کمزور سے کمزور تر ہو وہ ماشاء اللہ سے بہتر ہے، لیکن آج پھر ایک کوشش کی جا رہی ہے، اور جو جمہوری تمام سیٹ اپ ہے اس کو دوبارہ اس کی بساط کو لپٹنے کی کوشش کی جا رہی ہے، اور اس کے لیے ضروری ہے کہ اگر میں اپنی باری لگاؤں گا اور اپنے حوالے سے ان سے معاملات طے کروں گا، اور پھر نواز شریف صاحب اپنے معاملات طے کریں گے، MMA میں ہم نے اپنے معاملات طے کیے، اور آنے والے دنوں میں آج عمران خان اور طاہر القادری اپنے معاملات طے کریں گے، تو میرے محترم دوستو ماشاء اللہ کا یہ سیاہ ترین پھر ضیاء الحق تک محدود نہیں ہوگا، یہ پھر تصور آگے چلتا رہے گا۔ اب بھی صورتحال یہ ہے، مجھے برمنا کہنے دیجئے، اس وقت صورتحال بالکل یہی ہے کہ ہم پارلیمنٹ میں بیٹھے ہوتے ہیں، لیکن پارلیمنٹ بے اختیار ہے، وزیر اعظم کو ہم منتخب کرتے ہیں لیکن انہیں اقتدار تو دیا جاتا ہے، اختیار نہیں دیا جاتا، وزیر خارجہ ہم مقرر نہیں کر سکتے، ہماری گورنمنٹ، وزیر دفاع ہم نہیں کر سکتے، مجبوری کے تحت سپریم کورٹ نے وزیر اعظم کو پیش ہونے کے لیے کہا کیونکہ وزیر دفاع تھے، اس لیے ہمارے وزیر اعظم نے خواجہ آصف کو بنایا، فوج ناراض ہو گئی۔ تو میں سمجھتا ہوں کہ یقین جانیے، ہندوستان کو دیکھیے یا دنیا کے دیگر جمہوری ممالک کو، وہاں پر فیصلہ عوام کے ہاتھ میں ہے، فیصلہ ووٹوں سے ہوتا ہے، وہاں سے بیلٹ کے ذریعے فیصلہ ہوتا ہے۔ ہمارے ہاں ہماری سیاست کا، ہمارے اقتدار کا فیصلہ بیلٹ کے ذریعے نہیں، بلٹ کے ذریعے ہوتا ہے، اور یہ اس وقت تک ہوتا رہے گا جب تک کہ تمام سیاستدان جس طرح میثاق جمہوریت پہ دستخط ہوا تھا، اور اگر اس کے ایک شک پہ قائم ہو سکے اور سب بیٹھ کر یہ فیصلہ کریں کہ ہم نے جینا یا مرنا ہے، اقتدار کے سنگاسن کو ہم نے اس وقت تک نہیں چونا ہے جب تک کہ عوام کے منتخب نما عوام ہمیں منتخب نہ کرے۔ اور اگر ہم ماشاء اللہ کے حوالے سے کسی سے بھی بات کریں گے، چاہے ابو ظبی میں ہم کریں، چاہے جدہ میں ہم کریں، چاہے جس طرح MMA کے حوالے سے ہم نے بات کی، یہ تمام راہیں اس तारीकी में इजाफा का बायस बनेंगी। और मैं यही गुजारिश करूँगा कि हालात बदल रहे हैं अफ़गानिस्तान के हवाले से। जिस तरह लाशारी साहब ने कहा, हमने ये बात इनसे की थी कि भाई हम मुज़ाकरात करें, और फिर जब मैं पिछली दफ़ा आया था तो उन्होंने इस बात का एतराफ़ किया कि जनाब अगर हम आपकी इस बात को तस्लीम कर लेते तो हमारे इतना नुकसान न होता। इसलिए आज पाकिस्तान एक और दो राय पे है, लेकिन मैं तमाम तर मायूसियों के बाद आपको ये खुशखबरी सुनाता हूँ। इंशाअल्लाह 2015 के बाद अल्लाह रब्बुल इज़्ज़त हम पे रहम फरमाएंगे, और पाकिस्तान के हवाले से हमारे रिसोर्सेज जितने भी हैं, बलूचिस्तान से मेरा ताल्लुक़ है, वहाँ पर रिकोडिक है, वहाँ पर सेंदक है, वहाँ पर सोना है, चांदी है, यूरेनियम है, तमाम तर ज़खायर मौजूद है। अल्लाह करे कि हमारे यहाँ कोई ऐसी क़यादत उभरे जो उस तमाम तर वसाइल को बरूकार ला सके। लेकिन हालात का यही अंदाज़ा है कि जो बलूचिस्तान में नौजवान हैं उनसे भी बातचीत की कोशिश की जा रही है, और हम आपसे ये तवक्को रखेंगे। कुछ लोग यहाँ बैठे हुए हैं, मैं कार्डिफ में मिला उनसे, हमारे खान अफकलात वाली रियासत के पोते हैं सलमान साहब, पिछली दफ़ा मैं उनसे मिला। यहाँ पर खैर बयान मरी साहब बैठे हुए हैं, उनसे भी मिले। मैं समझता हूँ कि कुछ लोग अगर यहाँ पर हम कोशिश करें मुल्क के इस्तेहकाम के हवाले से, तो हर मसले का हल बातचीत में है, मुज़ाकरात में है। और अगर लाशारी साहब बैठे हैं तो हमारे खोड़ो साहब बैठे हैं, और आप हजरात और हमारी ये बहनें और बेटियां अगर काम के लिए निकलें, तो मैं समझता हूँ कि मुल्क की सबसे बड़ी खिदमत ये इस वक्त ये हो सकती है कि वहाँ पर जो इंतशार के हवाले से बातचीत है उसको आगे बढ़ाया जा सके। मैंने कोशिश की थी और मैं कर रहा हूँ। मैं तवक्को रखूँगा कि बरतानिया में मौजूद और यूरोप में मौजूद जो हमारे दोस्त हैं वो इस हवाले से बात करें, तो यकीनन बलूचिस्तान में भी हालात को संभाला दिया जा सकता है। एक बार फिर मैं आपका शुक्रिया अदा करता हूँ।
बहुत शुक्रिया। हाफिज has said that in Pakistan since Ayub Khan, since he has taken over in 1958, the transfer of power went to military and it has never been transferred to the politician. Although politicians are sometimes accused of welcoming the martial law or even creating the situation which brings in martial law, but military and politician both are responsible for the situation today. We cannot blame one or other. We personally believe, third one solidarity, Saundra has already given her paper, which we will definitely send it to you. We believe that exactly same as you said, that everything should be resolved through dialogue and there should be no war. But unfortunately, we live in a very cruel world. So some people do not understand and listen to your dialogue, so you might have to show them a very strong stick before you ask them to sit with you on the table. But that is a situation in some of the part of the world. I know that Hafiz Hussain has created a wonderful word for our Corps commander. He said they are no more Corps commanders, they are Crore commanders, but I think now they are Arab commanders, no more Crore commanders as well. So I think we are discussing here history. Ziaul Haq, I think, and I believe, and Saundra has already said it, that we believe that Pakistan is passing through a very challenging time, and I hope in 2015 situation will change once Americans have left Afghanistan, and all countries around that, Iran, Pakistan, India, Russia, China, get together to resolve the issue of Afghanistan instead of Britain and America resolving that. It will be much better for that region and everything. I really thank you, Sheikh Reman sahab, our founder member of Pakistan People's Party, and many others. I wouldn't name Afzal Akram sahab, thank you. You're a bit late, but still welcome. I've got a young man who wants to say a few words, Abdul Jaleel. First, you introduce yourself, because I know you are invited by TOaha Prize. Or
I actually want people to put their hand up if they've come from my Facebook event.
Yes, there are many. 21, I think, yes. Abdul Jaleel sahab, and then you will say, and then Nisar Khoro sahab. Akram Khani sahab, I'm going to invite you to say a few words.
Okay, Assalamu alaikum, good evening. My name is Abdul Juril Bepari, that is my full name. I'm originally from Bangladesh, but I have been settled in the UK for 22 years. My daughter Khadija Bepari, she is here with me. I have been invited by Barrister Samir Mahmood to attend this event. I'm not a politician, I will not talk about politics, but what I can see from the events and the occurrences which are happening in the world at the moment. Islam is such a nice religion. We don't understand the meaning of Islam. I am not educated in Arabic, but as a Muslim I understand the teachings of Islam are not really followed nowadays. Whoever it is, Taliban or other fundamentalist groups, they are presenting Islam as a weapon to torture women or discriminate people. This is not Islam. Even if we look at the last verse of Surah, Lakum Dinukum, this is one verse of the one Surah, that is one chapter of the Quran. What is the meaning of this? Lakum Dinukum Waliyadin. That means, to you is your religion, to me is my religion. But no one follows this. Everybody thinks their religion is superior, their religion is better. But actually, no religion in the world teaches us that you have to kill a fellow human being because of his faith. He could be Hindu, he could be Muslim, he could be Sikh, he could be anything, he could be Christian. But he is a human being. The value of the human being, that is taught by Islam. And nowadays, some groups, they think that, oh, she is not a Muslim, or kill him. This is not the right approach. First of all, we have to learn what is the value of human being. We are, of course, superior than animals because we have reasoning power. And that is the power we need to use. And now, some people or some group or some sects, I'm not going to name anybody, any group, they're depicting Islam to the people of the world in such a manner that it's a horrible thing to be a Muslim. And this is not the right way. And all the laws and the regulations and the rules, everything is produced that we have to suppress women. That is not the Quran says. This is the religion which gave the right of the women to the property of their father's property, to the property of their husband's property, right to the property of the husband actually. So this is a very important religion in the history of the world. And in the beginning, before the advent of Islam, what the Arab people used to do? They used to kill their own children because of their sex. So this religion changed the world, and this is a great religion which reformed the society, the world.
Thank you very much.
But nowadays, we don't follow this.
Thank you very much.
We interpret in a different manner.
Thank you, Mr. Reman sir. I know that people were getting uneasy because we are speaking about Ziaul Haq and today's Pakistan, not Islam. We will debate Islam another day, and then I've got a very opposite point of view than yours, but we can debate that. And that's why we believe in tolerance. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the time that I invite our second main speaker or chief guest of this evening. Can you say it is wonderful to have former president of Pakistan People's Party Sindh, speaker of Provincial Assembly in past 5 years, and now Minister of Education, a great friend of mine and ours, and there are many friends sitting here. And I invite Mohtaram Nisar Khoro sahab to speak about Ziaul Haq and Pakistan today.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Honorable Mushtaq Lasharie sahab, and a wonderful friend, Hafiz Hussain, meeting him after a long time. Ladies and gentlemen, assalamu alaikum. This is indeed an opportunity for me to be here in the Parliament House of England. They say it's model Parliament, and I am speaking, and I would want to speak in defense of the Parliament. Let's come to a point. We consider back home in Pakistan 5th of July as a black day in the history of Pakistan. But the mindset just did not come around in 77. Mindset started from the early days of Pakistan. Misfortune hit us when our founding father died after a year in some questionable way. And later on, the number 2 in command, Khan, got assassinated. The very beginning of Pakistan became a disturbing sight for the world. I wonder whether the founding fathers had done something or anything on making a constitution for Pakistan, but was not declared. And we were probably going haywire as to what should be our system. That came about in Qaid-e-Azam's times, about how the Pakistan is going to be. Yes, there were times when his famous history was also kept as a secret, where he talked about protection to Muslim, non-Muslim minority, and so on and so forth. So he probably wanted to be a secular state, but nevertheless, these things were kept behind closed doors for a long time. And even then, afterwards, after Sheikh murder, the thing called establishment really took over. Sometimes it was a bureaucrat, somebody imported from somewhere, and things like these kept on happening. Kept on happening, and there were some people, and we read about certain things, that in the initial days of Pakistan, these people who are called the armed forces had probably questioned Qaid-e-Azam as what will be our role in the country called Pakistan. And Qaid-e-Azam had famously told them that, and they kept on keeping the peoples of Pakistan as slaves. Some people who should be directed, somebody should be ordered, somebody who should be only saying yes to them. So, I may blame Ziaulak, but he took the lead from the days of Ayub. He took the lead from the people who had done this before, disturbed the society and the image of Pakistan in the world, blaming the politicians for being weak, blaming the system not being there, and when the people were about ready to have the elections, those were the times when he hit the country and imposed the martial law. I hope that's not down.
No, it is house adjourned. You can read there, we'll stop, that's it.
So those are the times, and those are the bad times. Bad times in Pakistan because a baby called Pakistan was being ruled by so-called reformist, benevolent dictator who later on just came out and gave the people, and he said, I, Field Marshal Muhammad Khan, give this nation this constitution. No parliament, no vote, nothing. An imposition of a presidential power, indirect elections, not really respecting the right of the people to vote and decide for their future. And this is how Pakistan is started. And that went on for long 10 years. creating kind of a society where they were class society, poor people and very rich people. And somehow or the other, we ended up, while on one road, they were celebrating the 10 years of reforms, and on the other streets, the common people were raising slogans, Ayub is a dog. And so it happened that from there, we didn't learn a lesson. Rather than giving it away to the speaker of the so-called assembly of that time, we handed over the power to another leader. And that was again the same mindset, because they started taking Pakistan for granted and did what they wanted to do, and whenever they wanted to do. And this is Yahya Khan. The guy, the man, famous or infamous, always drunk, played with the destiny of Pakistan. Played with the destiny of Pakistan of waging a war there on their own people. And at the fag end of his career, the little that Pakistan really got was, after so many years, probably 23 years to say this, at least, a decision that we will hold election for the first time in Pakistan, a general election with a one-man, one-vote system. That happened after so many years. But in the bargain, we lost half the country. We lost half the country for certain actions, mindset again. But then came the present Pakistan that we call, and we did get a bit of a breath of fresh air, where people got together and the political leadership had the acumen to start on the foundations of a country, and we were able to give the nation a constitution, which was unanimously passed by the Assembly of Pakistan way back, or so late in '73. A constitution which was approved by the people of Pakistan, means the National Assembly of Pakistan, was then there, with Pakistan saying that yes, okay, at least we found a founding document. And then comes Zero. Again with the same mindset. Again keeping the people as slaves and destroying the society that they put in. Pakistan was created by a political party headed by Quaid-e-Azam, and he said that political parties are anti-religious. Muslim League was supposed to be the pioneer of Pakistan, and he said political parties are banned. And he bifurcated and fragmented the society to the extreme, declaring that the people are not worth making a decision for their future, and I shall rule the country, and no decision-making power is to be given to the people as much. And that Islamic or so-called religious government had two things introduced into Pakistan. Pakistan became probably the biggest exporters of heroin. And then the other thing that we got in that 10 years is a weapon called Kalashnikov, which we could not spell for many years. And that fragmented the society further. Playing in the name of religion, fragmenting the society to the ultimate, not taking people, not considering the people to be good enough to make a decision for themselves, and we feel we are facing the brunt of all that. I will not stop at that. I will not cry because Bhutto got hanged. He lived in the history and he will live in the history. I will not stop at that. But the mindset again came up in the name of Musharraf. Again the same trend. People are not worth making a decision, and I shall not allow them to make a decision for the country for 3 years. And the so-called independent judiciary of our Pakistan gave him a carte blanche, saying that amend the constitution you wish to, and you can hold election in 3 years. The bench, the full bench of Pakistan, gave him a go-ahead to do what he wanted to do. He may be playing double, he may be photographed holding dogs in hands, declaring to the people that he is liberal, and on the other hand, asking the world to contribute if you want us to play a role in war against terrorism, seeking per head price per day. And the same attitude, without declaring a martial law, he said, I like the word called chief executive, so I'll call myself chief executive, and then he forgot all about the accountability being horizontal or vertical, whatever he was talking about. He was happy to wash away the site of 18th October bomb blasts on the arrival of Benazir Bhutto in 2 hours. And he also said, sorry, I did not know who ordered the washing of the site of the 27th of December when Benazir got assassinated. He just said, sorry, I did not know who ordered this. Now you can all imagine what is the attitude. You can all imagine what was the mindset. So that mindset has to be countered. Whether you give your life away, like our leaders have done that, and like the people resisted the move of martial law in 1983, when we had this movement for restoration of democracy. And these are the things that you have to sort of bank on, because we are the weak people, we are a weak nation, maybe. We are not that strong, we are not that disciplined. Our political parties have been trampled upon, they have been made weak over the years, and somehow or the other, that has played havoc on the society. I am a pro-parliamentary system. I'm a political worker, ardent fan of parliamentary system. And one has to make a deep line, baseline, that come what may, the right of rule belongs to people. Any other overtures, even today some people are making issues of nothing. You must be having questions in mind about Mr. Tahir Qadri. I mean, he mentioned it, so I did too. The man was ready to participate in the election held by General Musharraf in 2002. The man was happy to be participating in that election, like Imran Khan, like himself, supporting General Musharraf in the referendum, which is totally unconstitutional. then resigning because of certain reasons best known to them, and then abandoning the parties, abandoning the political role, leaves for Canada, does not participate in 2008 elections, and when the Parliament decides to reform the Election Commission, having a consensus election commissioner in the name of Ibrahim, who had the guts to say no to Ziaulak, and he refused to take the oath under PCO. Consensus candidate, election commission refined, inviting even the nationalist parties of Balochistan, having the confidence in the election commission, participated in the 2013 elections. He refuses to do that. Not having participated in the elections, now he comes and he talks about revolution and thinks about getting himself imposed as the chief executive by whom, I don't know. So these are certain claims, but they are never popular. Sorry to say that even the religious regime of Ziaulak did not make the religious parties popular enough. And they yet again proved in 2008 and 2013 that somehow or the other this outlook is not really a popular outlook considered by the people of Pakistan. Yes, we have our religion, we are proud of that religion, but the politics on the basis of that somehow or the other has not yielded that fruit that is expected. मैं आप सबसे ये गुजारिश करना चाहता हूँ कि हम 5 जुलाई को इसलिए मानते हैं कि एक ने यूनाइटेड पाकिस्तान को फ्रेगमेंट किया, अयूब खान और यया ने, और ज़ियाउल-हक ने एक कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल पाकिस्तान को फ्रेगमेंट किया। लोगों को तबाह करने की वो सारी कोशिश जारी है जो जनरल मुशर्रफ ने भी की। सिर्फ एक लफ्ज ही मेरे लिए काबिल नफरत है कि जब कोई कहे कि पाकिस्तान के अवाम जिन्होंने पाकिस्तान बनाने के लिए वोट किया, जो पढ़े लिखे नहीं थे, वो ग्रेजुएट नहीं थे, उनके वोट से पाकिस्तान बन सकता है। और ये पाकिस्तान बनाने के बाद जो भी आमिर साहबान आते हैं वो कहते हैं पाकिस्तान के लोगों में वो अकल नहीं है फैसला करने की। Means कि these people are negating the whole thing, जिसकी बुनियाद पे हम कहते हैं कि वो गरीब, वो जो जहाँ मुस्लिम majority provinces voted for Pakistan or went into the election and got the people elected or got the Muslims elected, they are actually negating the whole concept. ये वो सारी चीजें आपके गुज़ार इसलिए मैं भी करना चाहता हूँ कि मैं भी पॉलिटिकल वर्कर हूँ और इनके आने से जो सोसाइटी पे असर पड़ता है वो लॉन्ग लास्टिंग होता है। दुनिया फोकस कर रही है पाकिस्तान के इन अज़ाइम को, और मैं नहीं समझता कि दुनिया इतनी गाफिल है हमारे लोगों के एहसासात से जो ऐसी आमराना हुकूमत के कतन खिलाफ है। Thank you.
Thank you very much. It was very enlightening. Tribal solidarity always does a unique sort of thing, and that is that we always ask people to ask questions or comment on the speeches. I will definitely ask you. But I think one thing is clear out of all people who have spoken, that in Pakistan it is a mindset which has encouraged extremism, drugs, law and order, weaponization. VIP culture is also, VIP culture in the 60s and 70s was that when you are driving a car or you are having a one gunman. Today it is that if you have 30-foot tall wall, and you have about 200 cars surrounded by you. So that has been encouraged, and I think I totally agree with you. Religious intolerance is another one, which I think everybody has said. I think we agree with you, Nisar Khoro Sahab, that this mindset has to be countered, and political parties and democracy is the best way to counter it. Iqbal Sahab.
اور یہ میرا سوال پہلے تو مولانا صاحب سے ہے کہ میں برٹش ہوں. He asked Britain is a mother of democracy, and why we welcomed Nawaz Sharif before he was elected. For your kind information, Britain, Great Britain has all the political analysis all over the world. They know what is happening in Pakistan and what will happen in Pakistan. And their researchers, they sent all the best reports, and anybody knew that Nawaz Sharif is going to come into power. So please don't blame the British government. The second question is that I'm speaking only because of Saundra, there was best is in Urdu. You said, I'm sorry, اگر آپ کا تعلق مولانا فضل الرحمان صاحب کی پارٹی سے ہے تو یہ میں آپ کو کچھ بید بھی نہیں کر رہا کہ سب سے زیادہ فائدہ مولانا فضل الرحمان صاحب کی پارٹی رکھتا ہے. ضیاء اللہ کے سپورٹر سب سے آپ تھے. آج کس وجہ سے آپ ان کے ساتھ بیٹھے ہوئے ہیں؟ اور ایک مثال میں آپ کو دوں. بے نظیر صاحبہ کی حکومت تھی. بے نظیر واز پرائم منسٹر اینڈ آئی وانٹ ٹو سی کلیم دل خان. یو نو کلیم دل خان؟ جی ایس پی ہوتے تھے. سر پلیز ایک منٹ. وہ بے نظیر صاحبہ میٹنگ سے آئیں تو کلیم دل خان آیا تو ادھر جنرل نصیر اللہ بابر صاحب آ رہے تھے. تو کہتے بی پی مولانا صاحب کو اسٹیٹ بینک کی چابی دے دو. کہتے ہیں خان صاحب آپ کیا کرتے ہیں جنرل صاحب؟ کہتے ہیں ان کو میں نے تو ان کو پورا وہ افغانستان کا وہ ڈیزل کا ٹھیکہ دیا. اب وہ کیا چاہتے ہیں؟ کہتے ہیں بی بی اس کو یہ بھی دو پھر یہ چپ کرے گا.
تھینک یو
عمارت کے ساتھ.
نہیں کوئی بات نہیں. جی مہدی ظفر صاحب, میں آپ کو دونوں کو آخر میں کہوں گا کہ آپ سارے بھول جائیں گے سوال. آپ لکھ لینا جناب, پین آپ کے پاس, ورنہ آپ چاہتے ہیں. ڈو یو وانٹ ٹو رسپونڈ؟ جی آپ جی رسپونڈ کر دیں. میں آپ کو مان لیتا ہوں. سر ایک منٹ مہدی صاحب, یہ رسپونڈ کرتے ہیں اگر کرنا چاہیں تو. میں اس کا رسپانس ایک دے دوں. ون رسپانس that in a democracy opposition leader is equal to the prime minister because he or she is sitting as a potential prime minister or leader of the country. So when Nawaz Sharif used to come as a leader of opposition, although he was not in the parliament, he was treated like a future prime minister. So that was just a comment on your question, but aap respond kar dein.
دیکھیے جی, جہاں تک تعلق ہے مولانا فضل الرحمان صاحب کی ذات کا, بنیادی طور پر جمعیت علماء اسلام میں مفتی محمود سے کے ہم تابع تھے اور ہیں, اور ان کو معلوم ہے کہ بعض معاملات میں میں خود مولانا فضل الرحمان صاحب کے پالیسی سے گزشتہ 8-10 سال سے اختلاف کرتا ہوں. لیکن ایک جو بنیادی معاملہ ہے وہ یہ ہے کہ اگر ہم پاکستان میں موروثی سیاست کا خاتمہ کریں تو میں سمجھتا ہوں کہ بہت سے مسائل حل ہوں گے. آج کل ایک مشکل یہ ہے کہ ہمارے جتنی بھی پارٹیاں ہیں ان سب میں موروثی سیاست ہے. موروثی سیاست کا مطلب یہ ہے کہ باپ ہے, بیٹا ہے, بیٹی ہے, بہن ہے, بھائی ہے, تمام کے تمام. یقیناً اگر اختیارات ملیں گے چاہے نواز شریف صاحب کو ملے, میرا مت میں نگاہ یہ ہے کہ ووٹ لینے کے بعد صرف اسے اقتدار نہ ملے بلکہ اسے اقتدار کے ساتھ اختیارات بھی ملے. لیکن پاکستان میں کھورو صاحب بیٹھے ہوئے ہیں, پاکستان میں آج بھی صورتحال یہ ہے کہ نواز شریف صاحب کو اختیار نہیں ہے بلکہ صرف اقتدار ملا ہے. اس لیے ہم یہ سمجھتے ہیں کہ جہاں تک ماشاء اللہ کا تعلق ہے, میں خود آپ کے سامنے بیٹھا ہوں, میں تقریباً 1.5 سال تک ضیاء الحق کے ماشاء اللہ کے دور میں کوئٹہ جیل میں رہا ہوں, اور اس کی بنیادی وجہ یہ تھی کہ وہ کہتے تھے کہ آپ وزیر بنے. میں نے وہاں پر تقریر کی اور پیپلز پارٹی کے جو ساتھی تھے انہوں نے سب نے میرا ساتھ دیا, اور الحمدللہ ہم ایک ہی بیرک میں 1.5 سال تک ماشاء اللہ کے خلاف رہے ہیں.
I will speak in English because I think those who don't speak English or those who speak Urdu also understand English. I'll say what it is. My question is very simple, that I've been coming to such august gatherings where various important personalities of background of organizations and government have stated what are usually called facts of historical importance that we all know. My question is, what is the solution? And nobody ever talks about the solution. Marusi siyasat is perhaps the solution, but let's talk about it and let's do something about it. We have got tired of listening to everybody coming to the mother of government, or parliaments as we call it, to make a presence here, to make a speech here, and yet the reality is nobody has any solutions. And I would be very delighted. I'm 62, I've got a few more years to live. I'd like to see a solution before I die.
Thank you very much. Two questions.
My name is Huma Beg, and I'm from Islamabad. I've got a communications company in which, interestingly enough, the topic of this house today, I made a film on the history of democracy in Pakistan. And I wish if we knew earlier, that would have been a good one to start as a teaser. But I understand what the topic is. But I do understand that the comment before me was also about the future, because either as General Zia or as a citizen of Pakistan, I just feel that our generation has been cheated of what the country was made for of a space for ourselves to exert ourselves and what we believe in. And politicians have definitely taken the headline, but there are 180 million Pakistanis who do not have a voice today, who are sane Pakistanis who can contribute not to the country only, but to the world at large. And they constantly show that. And I know all sorts of politicians have played their part in party politics. Has been important in establishing democracy in Pakistan, but it has also polarized what the future of Pakistan will be, because we keep getting cheated by the leadership at large that this is not the Pakistan we wanted. I was part of media at the time when, during General Zia's time, the Batta was forced on everybody. But interestingly enough, I was one who chose to take this on earlier on, and maybe I would take it off if Islam is colored and portrayed in the way that it is. But not only was radicalization done during General Zia's time, and we remember that, because again we are from media, we remember that, but it was started earlier, and sadly it was prolonged. Every leader had the chance to reverse what General Zia did, and I think majority of the leadership did very little. And if you have to look at the future, a new generation has to be allowed to come forward. And yes, you talked about Marusi siyasat or dynastic politics is one thing, but I think if you allow the citizens to come and create a space within the politics today, Pakistan's destiny can be changed within a decade. But allow them that space, we do not get that space. And the focus needs to shift slightly. I know Third World Solidarity does bring a lot of political leadership at hand. But I think you have to allow other people who are maybe not participating in politics but have changed the destiny in one way or another.
Wonderful. Thank you. I think I will totally agree with you that we have to change the culture. It is a feudal culture which has been taken over by generals, by Sarmayadar, by industrials, everybody, by mullahs. Now, mullahs doesn't go out of mosque, and mosques are protected by police and military now. You cannot believe that a mosque where people are going to for a prayer needs the protection of a gunman standing outside while there is a janaza taking place. They are gone. So I think I totally agree, and we would love to have you one of the future speakers on these subjects.
Just your observations are well taken. You see, दो चीजें हैं. मैं पहले कह चुका कि political parties in Pakistan are not strong enough, succumb to the pressures of different times. हमने ये भी देखा, taking the lead from what Musharraf tried to do, only graduates can get elected to the parliament. Only graduates can get elected to the parliament, and all non-graduates will only have to give vote, they cannot seek vote. That was his policy. We all know that it's probably not practiced anywhere in the world, that only the graduates are eligible to seek vote and be the masters of destiny, and the others are only just to follow and give vote. So that's one condition put. The other condition was that those leaders who reside outside the country cannot be the leaders of their party. That was another one which came about. He may have done that. But that did not stop from a political party winning. The hierarchy or murusi siyasat, as you say, वो होती है, लेकिन मुरुसी सियासत चलो पीपुल्स पार्टी में है, लेकिन पीपुल्स पार्टी हार गई, कोई और जीत गया। केपीके में वो कल नहीं थे, आज है। तो ये इस तरह की बात नहीं है। मैं समझता हूँ डेमोक्रेटिकली आप कंडीशन लगा लो कि मेरा बेटा या मेरी बेटी सियासत में हिस्सा नहीं ले सकते। कैन यू डू दैट? मैंने कोई कंट्रीब्यूट किया होगा पॉलिटिकल लाइफ में, नॉट नेसेसरी दैट आई एम अ फ्यूडल, नॉट नेसेसरी दैट आई एम अ कैपिटलिस्ट और इंडस्ट्रियलिस्ट। Does an industrialist not have the right to participate in election? Does an industrialist son or daughter does not have a right to participate in election?
If I may say so.
The point is,
let's not.
It's not an argument. Your point of view, my point of view, that these kind of restrictions in a society which cannot even stand and resist the kind of forces that there are. अभी शायद ये टाइम नहीं है कि आप इसको इस तरह से restrict कर लो. With the time when the political party, for God's sake, Pakistan feels proud that after 66 years, it was able to transfer power peacefully to another government.
A democratic elected government.
Democratic, like first time in the history of Pakistan, 66 years. Okay. Now let these institutions take firm hold. Let there be no conspiracies getting successful every now and then. We should not feel insecure. If we feel insecure, then our political parties will also succumb to the pressures of big money, capitalists, sarmayadars, feudals, and so on and so forth. Electables, like they say. People who are electable are considered to be better candidates than the others. Now this can only go away when you have a settling down effect on the political parties, that nothing will happen to the democratic system of Pakistan now, and we can now go and organize our parties and bank on the educated or middle class or lower middle class, because you do make examples. Every political party is proud to make certain examples of fielding middle class or lower middle class candidates. They get successful also, but condition is something different.
Thank you. I think we can debate on these things. We are sitting in mother of democracy, everybody has said, but do you know the history of democracy in this country? Up till 1928, there was no right to vote for women. There was no, only feudal lords stand and vote for. So
my question was the solution. That's all I
know. I think it is the process which will make. The Labour Party came into being in 1900. Before that, it was liberal and conservative. We were yesterday in Liberal Club enjoying one of the best places in club in this country and in London, because they ruled for hundreds of years, and then conservative came, and then Labour came in 100 years ago, and the democracy. Real democracy. No, sir,
because my media friend and I.
Just a minute. You can speak later on. Can I say two things? There is a tomorrow Young Forum with Nisar Khoro at 6:30 at 1 Century Street, and you will be allowed to speak and ask him question again on these things. It will be a 1 hour debate in Century Street. Yes, Sheikh Sahab, I'm coming to you. You are the second one. First is Anis Nasir Sahab. And I will allow now 3 questions and then respond from them. I'm here. No problem at all up till 10 o'clock. But you will get tired in another half an hour. So, Anis Nasir Sahab.
Thank you, Sheikh Sahab. A lot is being said about General Ziaul Haq's government or his regime under martial law. He introduced so many draconian laws, and which were not fair and which were not progressive at all. Well, they weren't progressive. So since then, why no other? We've had a democratic government. Why they have made no attempt to repeal those laws, draconian laws which have been introduced, and introduce more progressive international law which are acceptable in all civilized societies, countries in the world? Why are we not pressurizing to change the law?
That's why we are sitting today here, to ask them to change the law through democratic process. Yes. Otherwise, we will not be sitting here. Sheikh Sahab.
So first, I would most respectfully address my comment to and take exception to his remarks that he made right at the beginning of his speech, where he said that the first general of our army was a non-Muslim, the first foreign minister of our country was a non-Muslim. I take exception to those remarks. He is certainly creating division within society. And unfortunately, our religious parties continually do this. They have not learned a lesson so far. And my second question, I second Mehdi Zafar's question, or echo his question again. What is the solution? We talk about history. We talk about, telling people, yes, there is Talibanization, yes, there is radicalization. Please, what is the solution? How do we progress from here? What do the political parties, what are they going to do for the betterment of the common man? What are they going to provide? What platform are they going to provide for them to come and fight the election? Why is it that we have the feudal lords? Why is it that we have the rich? Why is it that we have, and they're all in parliament. Why is it that we have vested interests in parliament? And why is it that we keep blaming foreign powers to that everything that happens, it's either India, it's either Britain, or it's America? Why is it not Pakistan? Why don't we acknowledge that we are the ones who are making
the mistake? Thank you. Thank you, Sheikh Sahab. Sibtia Sin Sahab.
Ziaul Sahab के martial law के बारे में that was much more than any martial law. Martial law था अयूब का, और उसकी next episode थी याया का martial law. याया का martial law दरअसल उल्टे पांव का सफर था, और वो आज तक जारी है। मैं उस पत्थर की मिसाल तो नहीं दूंगा जो बुलंदी से नीचे की तरफ लुढ़क रहा है। हम तो कभी सिविलाइजेशन की किसी भी बुलंदियों पर थे ही नहीं, हम तो वो गली का पत्थर जो अब सोसाइटी का ये हाल है कि सबसे बड़ा जो मेरी नज़र में उनका गुनाह था कि मज़हब के नाम पर एक सियासत का जो रास्ता खोला गया, आज उसने हमें ये दिन दिखाए हैं कि गांव की देहाती, मैं पॉइंट करके बता सकता हूँ ना, फलां जगह फलां, लेकिन वक्त लगेगा, कि सुन्नी और शिया होटल बन चुके हैं गांव में। मैं देख के आया हूँ कि ये सुन्नी का होटल है, ये शिया का होटल है, चाय भी बाबा सुन्नी और शिया होती है। और अब ये हालत है सोसाइटी में, किसी भी मोबाइल की ट्यून से उस आदमी का फिरका मालूम किया जा सकता है। ये हमारी सोसाइटी की अब सूरत हाल है। अब जो मजहबी सियासत हमने देखी जिसका इंजाम, एक पार्टी के सरबरा कहते हैं कि बैतुल्लाह मासूद शहीद है, दूसरी पार्टी के सरबरा ने अभी चंद दिनों पहले कहा कि मैं खुदा का वास्ता दे के कहता हूँ कि इनसे मत लड़ो। लेकिन हमने ये कभी नहीं देखा कि उन्होंने कभी तालिबान से कहा हो कि मैं तुम्हें खुदा का वास्ता देता हूँ कि तुम बेगुनाहों को मत मारो। और तीसरी बात जो बड़ी जिस हाफिज साहब की मौजूदगी से फ़ायदा उठाती गई है, उनसे सवाल है कि इनके सरबराह कहते हैं कि अमेरिकन गोली से कुत्ता भी मारा जाए तो वो शहीद है। तो हमारा सवाल ये है कि अब फ्यूचर में डेमोक्रेटिक पाकिस्तान अगर ये एग्जिस्ट करेगा रहेगा तो क्या मज़हब के नाम पर सियासत की कितनी गुंजाइश है या इसमें कितनी बेहतरी पैदा करने की गुंजाइश है?
थैंक यू। Thank you. You wanted to ask a question?
I wanted to tell one incident. This cousin, she's from Pakistan, and she was an entrepreneur throughout her life. And she was very young girl, and she was doing something in Portcullis, and I saw how Bhutto was changed. I used to visit her, and that had really affected me. That how in our country, if a person has to be even punished, that how brutal these people can be. Such a great leader, he used to be chained, the way they used to bring him out, it was awful. And that has really very bad impact.
Say your name as well?
Simi Awan.
Simi Awan. I have met you. Simi ji, thank you very much. I think there are so many subjects we can discuss for many hours. And
there should be some standard. If the leader has to be punished, they should be punished or not. They should be kept and on a certain
dignity. I totally understand, and I have visited and I have actually at those places as well. Anybody else? Afsal Akram Sahab,
Yes,
oh my God. Yes, madam.
I'm just a common person, not a big
Say the name first.
Big shots like you. My name is Hina Jafri. You haven't met me, but just a comment. I don't want to ask any question because I know I won't get the answer from politicians. But just a quick comment. Okay, I came here to learn something new about politics, about the TOaha from Amin Sahab, which I can't say him here. But just a quick comment, I haven't learned anything new. All the blame game still goes on. If you are blaming army all the time, then next time please call the representative of our army too. I'm not a big fan of army when they are in power, but the equal blame goes for politicians too, for the martial laws. So we have heard this excuses for years, almost 62 years. You said Khoro Sahab ke first martial law, लेकिन first martial law में Yahya Sir के best friend कौन थे? Bhutto Sahab, although I respect him a lot. When did the Pakistan divided? That was in 71. उसके बाद कौन सा दौर आया? और हमें ये भी मालूम है. I know I'm a bit young from you guys, but I have read a history कि 71 का partition क्यों हुआ था? बांग्लादेश क्यों अलग हुआ था? और हमने कुछ भी लर्न नहीं किया. यहाँ मेरे साथ सब बैठे हैं, कुछ भी लर्न नहीं किया हमारे politicians. And I feel so emotional. I've been here for 21 years, but my roots are still there. My parents were migrated from India. I am Shia Muslim, and the way things are going for Shias and minorities, nobody gets up. I think nobody gets up. Politicians, we are completely disappointed. Even our Shia leaders, we are disappointed. They are part of the politics now. लेकिन इतनी ज़्यादा डिसअपॉइंटमेंट है यंगस्टर्स में, और हम लोगों को आपसे कोई उम्मीद नहीं है. Sorry, I have to be honest with you. I think so. Thank you.
Can I just make one point in answer to the lady, please? Just one point.
No. Show the intolerance. Show tolerance. And if there are people who are not agreeing what you believe and think, listen to them. Naveed, Dr. Naveed.
If you open a discussion on the solution, probably solution to all these problems.
Stand up and please speak.
Solution to all these problems. Our friends were talking. The questions were raised. That would be probably a very good topic today. So we have an insight on the pre-Zia, post-Zia, all the problems, society, governmental, but I think the most important question still stays there, and that is a theocratic state. Pakistan was formed on the basis of religion. The solution is leave it to you, I'm saying. Now leave it to you, I'm saying. This is a discussion to be open.
Thank you. I think this is a debate which in Pakistan never happened, that Pakistan was never created on the name of Islam. That is my opinion. It was created for other economic reasons. Ji Afzal Akram Sahab, but we can disagree. Yes, I'm going back to you, Farhan.
As a former councillor and cabinet member here in local government, and as a second generation Pakistani born here and grown up here, I've grown up hearing about the issues in Pakistan, religion, politics. When I was growing up, there was no difference between Shia, Wahhabi, Sunni or any other minority. We grew up as Muslims, and that was one of the things that I took great pleasure in. As I grew up, however, the local mullahs, and I say that with due respect, the local Maulvis started to create these divisions and started to teach us what the differences were and why there should be differences. I'm, as those of you who know me, quite outspoken. I was able to outspeak and say, well, sorry, I disagree with you, and kept my friendships with my minority friends. But I know a number of people who haven't. I'm just going to make a statement, and that is my own personal belief is that there is no place for religion in politics, and there is no place for politics in religion. If we separate the two, I can see within a decade Pakistan being a different country, a country where my children will then want to go and be, because at the moment they do not want to go there and be. What will happen for Pakistan? Thank you.
वहाबियों को non-Muslim भुट्टो के ही ज़माने में कहा गया था. Sorry.
We have already.
Sorry.
Actually, you came late. Otherwise, if you have listened to the comment from Saundra and myself, we stated these things. And I'm pretty sure that we had a debate here. Afzal Akram Sahab, you were unable to attend it. It was a role of religion in a democracy. And there were two professors, one from Oxford and one from Cambridge, who spoke. And it is on our YouTube. Please go and look at their speech. It was 40-minute speech by Professor Dr. Hussain and Professor Kamran Tahir. Ji Qureshi. Sorry, Qureshi first. Faraq Mia.
मैं पहले तो मोहतरमा का थोड़ा सा सवाल आगे
नहीं प्लीज क्वेश्चन की तरफ करिए उनका कमेंट
क्वेश्चन की तरफ भी आ जाते हैं क्योंकि उन्होंने पहले कहा था उनका रेफरेंस दिया था कि इसका कोई जवाब नहीं मिलेगा हम लोग यहाँ पर जो रीजनल कॉन्फ्लिक्ट है जो कि हम शिया सुन्नी को कह के बड़ों से महदूद कर रहे हैं और उस रीजनल कॉन्फ्लिक्ट को जो कि जिसकी पुष्टपनाही
in next 2 minutes I think we will be asking the main speaker to speak. Mubin Rashid Shah, please, for 5 more minutes, give us another 10 minutes. It looked very bad, and this shows the tolerance. That if you must engage with each other, we are here for only 2 hours, and we can't even restrain ourselves. Yes.
मेरा हाफिज साहब से सवाल ये कि जो रीजनल कॉन्फ्लिक्ट है उसको हम बड़ा छोटा कर रहे हैं शिया और सुन्नी कहकर मेरा सवाल ये कि हम जो नामालूम ताकत नामालूम कुव्वत और सबका नाम लेने से बहुत डरते हैं हम बहुत खुली वाज़ेह तौर के ऊपर कहते हैं कि सऊदी अरब और ईरान इन दोनों मुल्क जो है ये डिफरेंट सेक्ट्स को मतलब उभार रहे हैं और सबके दरमियान जो भी इशूज है सबको पता है कि सऊदी अरब ने जो कुछ करना है उसको काम कर ईरान ने करना है एवरीबॉडी नोज इट वेरी वेल तो मेरा सिर्फ ये सवाल है कि अगर इसको जिसपे तोहा कुरैशी साहब का एक कॉलम मैंने भी पढ़ा था जंग में भी और ये रीजनल कॉन्फ्लिक्ट के ऊपर काम भी कर रहे हैं तो मेरा सिर्फ ये सवाल है कि आप इसको किस तरह से देखते हैं हम क्यों नहीं बहुत खुल के कहते बहुत डरते या बहुत ज़्यादा पैसे दे दिए सऊदी अरब ने या ईरान ने कि भैया आपको बोलना ही नहीं है आपको इतने हज़ार आदमी भेजने तो शाम जाके रख दें पैसे दे देते हैं लेकिन हम बोल नहीं सकते तो बाद में क्या कौन से वजह है कि जो हम इतना ओपनली नहीं कर सकते उसको कह नहीं सकते आप कुछ के मैं चाहूँगा आपसे
As I said, now be patient. In the next 10 minutes, we will conclude the meeting because I know everybody is becoming impatient. So let's conclude it in next 10 minutes.
Thank you very much. You always organize wonderful events and very informative discussions we carry out here. you mentioned that we had a debate here when you invited two unfortunately, I was one of the speakers.
You were one of them.
There as well. And that was...
Matthew, it is you.
It's okay, we sorted it out. Oh. Okay. We made it tolerant.
Okay.
That was not the influence of religion and democracy. The title was the influence of religion with regards to Pakistan on the state policies. And I think I remember very correctly that I said the question should have been the influence of state policies on the religion. And I made my point very eloquently that when the international policies were made to combat Soviet Union's invasion of Afghanistan, and then the Pakistan was not asked, as a matter of fact, told to become the front line state, and then help them to disintegrate former Soviet Union. Hence, they involved the religion. So the international policies influenced the state policy with regards to Pakistan, and then the Pakistan state policy influenced the religion. Now, very unfortunately, everybody here and outside the parliament as well, it's become a fashion to bash Pakistan, to bash Islam, to bash Muslims, to bash mullahs, to bash madrasas and all that. Now, we ought to really look at that great philosopher's one concept he gave, that we ought to have thesis plus antithesis, and then you get to the synthesis. We have a very bad habit of sticking to just one thing. Either we just strongly pose ourselves having that one thesis and not looking into the antithesis. General Zia, I'm a strong believer and supporter of democracy, and I was the one who's been saying this thing for a long time to this government and to the Americans, that they must have stopped drone attack to support the newly elected People's Party government, because it was undermining that democratically elected government, that Pakistan government had no control over this thing. Coming to the point of democracy and martial law and the situation now, it's a very good thing which ought to be celebrated. I think Brother Zafar has been talking about the solution. I think one of the solution is that we really will celebrate whatever Pakistan has given us, the good thing. 5 years of democracy and very smooth transition of power, transfer of power, having the Prime Minister and then the President and the Chief Justice and then the Chief of Army Staff. I think these are something's good really what due to this democracy Pakistan has acquired. We could blame sometimes People's Party or Muslim League Noon or whoever, the democratically elected governments as well, that they haven't supported the cause. For example, our beloved Lagani Sahab, he chucked out our democratically elected Prime Minister Benazir Bhutto. So it is not only the martial law really, that it is something to do with us as community, as the people. How are we working with the democratically elected government and how we are supporting them? Coming to one point which Hafiz have raised and then our friend Mr. Reman Sheikh raised, and then at the end from that corner as well, that is right, that it was not the mullahs and the madrasas and the martial law people, it was Zulfikar Ali Bhutto, it was the Pirzada, the law minister, and it was the Attorney General at that time. They presented this case of Ahmadiyas for 14 days in the parliament, and it was declared by the parliament, not by the madrasas or mullahs or maulvis or the Islamic parties. So I think we ought to have that thesis and then antithesis and look into that. How could we really merge these two things together and find a way forward instead of just going through the problems all the time? And I fully echo that issue there. That we need to really find a solution. Solution oriented is that we must support democracy no matter how bad it is. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Anybody? Yes.
Just one quick comment. My name is Ahmed.
Rana, 2-3 more minutes.
I think we I'm concentrating on the solution now. I think what the Islamists have done is they position themselves very strongly. They may not have the votes, but they have a very strong strings they pull. I think the other bit would be that we will have to, probably religion and state, we've seen that religion and state haven't worked in our scenario. So I think we'll have to keep a balance between how we actually deal with our situation, and otherwise if we keep mixing religion and state, we will have the best we are in now currently. So I think, and when it comes to money, everybody's of the same religion, volunteer something.
But our name is Islamic Jamhuriya Pakistan.
Yes,
I don't have Islam or Jamhuriya.
I think we have already said it. Third World Solidarity believe that once you take out the Islami Jamhuriya, Islami, it should be a democratic Pakistan. But Nahid, you want to say something very quickly.
I just wanted to say to my young friend who is aggrieved that I'm a Sunni Muslim and my husband is in jail for last 12 years on charges of blasphemy. My house was burnt down. So nobody is safe in Pakistan, and I come from a very prominent family. So most of the people who are suffering because of these religious intolerance are actually the majority. The most of the people who are in jail in Pakistan for blasphemy charges are Sunni Muslims.
Thank you.
I just wanted to make that point.
Thank you. Yes, very briefly.
Yes. How far is corruption responsible for extremism in Pakistan?
Thank you. Thank you. Sheikh Reman sir, would you like to say a few words? I think he was the founder member of People's Party. He is a senior barrister and he lives here and now a senior businessman. Say something. Do you want to come here, please? Javed Sheikh sir, are you? And Akram Kaimkhani, I want to listen from you as well before I ask these two speakers to respond to the question. And that will be there. Thank you.
जी मुझे मौका दिया गया लेकिन मैं तैयारी से नहीं आया मैं अभी पाकिस्तान से आया हूँ और ये ठीक है कि मैं बहुत साल पहले दिन से 1966 से 19 साल काम करता रहा हूँ और उसके बाद हुकूमत में भी बहुत शोर होता रहा हूँ और उसके बाद जेलों में भी रहा हूँ और ज़िया का जब दौर आया तो वो सख्त तरीन दौर था। यूथ का दौर में भी हमने मारे खाई, जेलों में गए और जुलूस निकाले और डेमोक्रेसी और कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन मांगते थे, हम लॉ मांगते थे। बीइंग ए लॉ स्टूडेंट एंड स्टूडेंट कॉलेज हमने बहुत जुलूस निकाले, लेकिन उसका सब स्टूडेंट्स जैसे कराची के बहुत से स्टूडेंट्स जुलूस निकाले, 10 स्टूडेंट्स उस जमाने हमारे साथ ही होते थे और वो जब लाहौर आते थे तो उनकी एक्सटर्नल ऑर्डर साथ हमारे इंटरनल ऑर्डर सब चीज़ें हम देखते रहे। उस दौर ने जो यूब का ज़माना था, उस दौर की पैदावार जो हम लोग हैं उसने बहुत कुछ सिखाया स्टूडेंट्स को, आने वाली जनरेशन को अपने राइट्स मांगने के लिए और पाकिस्तान चलाने के लिए। लेकिन पाकिस्तान चलाने के लिए जब मिलिट्री आती है, मिलिट्री को बुलाया जाता है। हमने वो भी दौर देखा जबकि बीबी की हुकूमत उल्टाने के लिए मौलाना कैसे भाग रहे थे सड़कों पे, कैसे पीछे से उनकी ब्रीफिंग हुई थी। ऐसे ही बहुत से दौर देखे जिसमें कि पॉलिटिशियंस को उकसाया जाता है। हमारे जुलूस पे पत्थर फेंके गए इंटेलिजेंस के लोगों ने छतों से और कहा गया स्टूडेंट्स ने राइट्स किए और 100-200 स्टूडेंट्स यूपी के ज़माने में जेल में किए गए और बहुत से मुख्तलिफ मौक़ों पे हुआ। बात ये है कि मरूसी सियासत एक बुरी चीज़ है, लेकिन ये हमारे पूरे खित्ते में है। आप इंडिया को नहीं निकाल सकते, बांग्लादेश को नहीं निकाल सकते, पाकिस्तान को निकाल तावक्त है कि गैर मरूसी ताकतें भी जो जैसे बहुत से लोग हैं MNA, MLPA और मिनिस्टर्स जो कि किसी ख़ानदान से नहीं है। ऐसे ख़ानदान से मैं भी ऐसे पॉलिटिशियन ख़ानदान से नहीं था, मेरे फादर भी वो वकालत करते थे। लेकिन मैंने स्कूल कॉलेज के टाइम पे स्कूल में जब मैं 5वीं जमात में था, पाकिस्तान बन रहा था, तो जब जुलूस निकाला वो हमने देखा दिन जबकि सेक्रेटेरिएट के ऊपर ख़वातीन ने आके झंडा लगाया और लाहौर में कर्फ्यू लगा दिया गया और हम उम्र मुसलमान लोग बच्चे जो सामने के साइड के स्कूल में पढ़ते थे, हम जुलूस लेकर सड़क पे चले गए और कर्फ्यू लगा हुआ था।
साहब ये तो उर्दू में बोल रहे हैं। वो होता है हमारे लोगों में ये प्रॉब्लम तो है।
I was mentioning, I was a student of class 4 or 5 when partition took place. I had the opportunity of taking over procession on the day when the ladies, Muslim League women, took over Secretariat of Lahore and hosted the Muslim League flag. And there was curfew announced and the schools were closed. We took out procession. We 10, 15 Muslim students took out procession in Lahore of age between 8, 10, 12, and saw the Pakistan making. And I was by chance in Dalhousie when partition took place later on, when actually we thought Punjab will be, Dalhousie will be part of Pakistan, but it wasn't. The Red Cliff Award frauded Pakistan. Coming back from there, I saw many murders, attack on our convoy, people lying dead on the streets. But thanks God, when we entered Wagah border, I was a child, my brother, sister, they were younger, very young. I don't know how did that feeling came to us. We are in our country, it's ours, Pakistan. But that has faded in years. It's not finished. It's not finished. It cannot be finished. I'm here in UK, but all the feelings are for back home. The thing is, nothing is going right. The corruption is right on top. Lawlessness is right on top. I have been affected many times in Pakistan. I go frequently from Pakistan, but I keep on going. The corruption, the security arrangement, security situation for each family, simple family, rich family, middle class family, anything is not in line. It's not the Pakistan that we thought it would be. And I hope we don't see any more of dictator.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Just 2-3 clarifications. First is that there were about 3 of my speakers, including some very important people, who went back after seeing the long queue. If there is a meeting at 6 o'clock, please turn up at 5 o'clock and wait out here, not the train. So, Jafri Sabah, there were people, and I don't want to name. No, I'm not asking that you came, but I'm province which need a lot of attention. We all know that. Today, it needs more attention than in 70s Bangladesh needed. So I think we must listen and debate and discuss these issues. I might not agree with what he says or believe in, but he has the right to say what he believes in, and I have the same right to say what I believe in. So let's listen and let's speak to each other and let's move forward. That is the solution in my opinion. But I want to ask first Hafiz and then Nisar to give us a solution. There is no magic to bring in a solution in Pakistan today. It is the dialogue, debate and process of democracy to let it continue.
दो बातें अर्ज करूँगा जी मुख्तसरन। एक तो ये है कि हर मुल्क का आइन होता है। अगर हम आइन पे मिनवान अमल करें, जो आइन हमारे पार्लियामेंट ने 2/3 अक्सरियत से मंजूर की है, मैं समझता हूँ कि तमाम मसाइल का हल मौजूद है। अगर मार्शल लॉ लगता है तो भी मावराए आइन होता है। इसलिए हम समझते हैं कि आइन के अंदर जितनी भी चीज़ें हैं। दूसरी बात यह है कि आइन को मैंने तब्दील नहीं कर सकता, न परवेज़ मुशर्रफ को जो इख्तियार था वो भी गैर आइनी था, उसको तब्दील करने का हक पार्लियामेंट को है। पार्लियामेंट में पीपल्स पार्टी की अक्सरियत रही है या मुस्लिम लीग की अक्सरियत है। अगर वो चाहें तो तमाम उन आर्टिकल को तब्दील कर सकते हैं जिनके बारे में आप हजरात में से किसी ने एतराज़ किया है। दूसरी बात यह कि मौरूसी सियासत से मेरा ये मतलब नहीं है कि कोई MNA का बाई नहीं लड़ सकता, हैसियत से या सेनेट का इलेक्शन नहीं लड़ सकता। बुनियादी बात यह है कि अगर हम अपने सियासी पार्टियों के अंदर ईमानदारी से इलेक्शन कराएं, जमहूरियत की बुनियाद हम अपने सियासी पार्टियों में रखें, चाहे वो मेरी पार्टी है, चाहे पीपल्स पार्टी है, चाहे मुस्लिम लीग की पार्टी है। अगर वहाँ पर एक वर्कर को ये تاثر ملے کہ اگر میں محنت کروں گا تو ہو سکتا ہے کہ میرے ورکر مجھے کسی جگہ پر پہنچائیں گے. تو میں سمجھتا ہوں کہ پھر جمہوریت کے حوالے سے بھی ہم آگے بڑھ سکتے ہیں. لیکن اگر میری پارٹی یا کوئی اور پارٹی اپنے پارٹی کے اندر انٹر پارٹی جو ہمارے انتخابات ہوتے ہیں اس میں اگر ہم جمہوریت کا پاس نہیں رکھیں اور ہم کہیں کہ ہم جمہوریت کے حامی ہیں تو میں سمجھتا ہوں سیاسی ورکر کی حیثیت سے کہ وہ جمہوریت کے ساتھ ہم مخلص نہیں ہیں. میرے بھائی نے بات کی تو میں سمجھتا ہوں کہ ہم نے 27-28 جماعتوں کو جمع کیا اور ہم سمجھتے ہیں کہ جتنی بھی فرقواریت ہے اس کی ہم نفی بھی کرتے ہیں اور مذمت کرتے ہیں. میں نے شروع میں گزارش کی کہ ہمارے معاملات کا 90% بیرونی عوامل ہے. اس میں امریکہ کی لڑائی ہو افغانستان میں تو جنگ ہمارے گھر میں لڑائی جاتی ہے. سوویت یونین اگر افغانستان میں داخل ہو تو ہمارے گھر میں لڑائی ہوتی ہے. اگر کویت اور عراق کا معاملہ درپیش ہو تو لڑائی ہمارے گھر میں ہوتی ہے. آج کل شام کا اور ایران کا اور سعودی عرب کا معاملہ ہے وہ ہمارے گھر میں ہوتی ہے. یہ میں نے شروع میں عرض کی تھی کہ نام چونکہ وقت تنگ کا میں نہیں لے سکا لیکن میں سمجھتا ہوں کہ اس وقت بھی بلوچستان میں جو ہماری بیٹی نے کہا ہے کہ ہمارے بلوچستان میں جو شیعہ مارے جاتے ہیں ان کو کوئی سنی نہیں مارتا. اصل میں یہ بین الاقوامی صورتحال یہ ہے کہ کچھ ہمارے تنظیمیں جو ہیں وہ زیارات کے حوالے سے لوگوں کو بلاتے ہیں اور ان کو ویزا دیے جاتے ہیں اور وہ ایران میں جا کر وہ آگے عراق اور شام میں جا کے لڑائی میں حصہ لیتے ہیں. اور لڑائی میں حصہ لینے کے بعد جب ان کی ڈیڈ باڈی آ گئی تو اس میں پتہ چلا یہ پاکستانی ہے, بلوچستان سے تعلق رکھتا ہے, یہ گلگت سے. تو ہماری ایجنسیوں نے یہ کام شروع کر دیا کہ وہاں لوگوں کو مارے اور مارنے کے بعد جو ہے نا ان کو مارنے کے بعد جو ہے ان کو پابندی لگ جائے. اسی طرح ہم یہ سمجھتے ہیں کہ شام کے مسئلے سے ابھی ہمیں $1.5 ارب جو ملا تو یقیناً وہ کسی معاوضے کے تحت ملا ہے. اس لیے اگر ہم سعودی عرب سے جرم ضعیفی کے سزا کے عمر کی مفادات جب غربت ہوتی ہے, جب ہمیں کسی طرف سے پیسے ملتا ہے تو ہم اس کی لڑائی لڑتے ہیں. اس لیے ہم سمجھتے ہیں کہ جو بلوچستان میں حالات خراب ہیں فرقہ وارانہ طور پہ وہ شیعہ سنی کا مسئلہ نہیں ہے. میں 2 دفعہ وہاں سے ریکٹ ہوا ہوں اور میرے حلقے میں تقریباً 60-70 ہزار ووٹر ہیں شیعوں کے, لیکن آج تک ہمارا کوئی کلیش ان سے نہیں ہوا اور نہ ہم نے ہم خود ان کے امام بارگاہ میں بھی جاتے ہیں, اکٹھے ہم بیٹھے ہوتے ہیں, جلسے کرتے ہیں. لیکن بنیادی طور پر میں سمجھتا ہوں کہ وہاں پر جو صورتحال ہے وہ پرائی لڑائی میں جو ہے عبداللہ دیوانہ کے طور پر ہم استعمال ہوتے ہیں اور اس وقت ہم شام کے حوالے سے اور ایران کے حوالے سے استعمال ہو رہے ہیں. تو میں سمجھتا ہوں کہ اگر آئین کے اوپر مکمل عمل درآمد ہو جائے اور آئین میں جو شرکیں موجود ہیں چاہے قادیانیوں کے حوالے سے پیپلز پارٹی کی اکثریت اس نے بنائی اور اگر پیپلز پارٹی کی گزشتہ حکومت تھی اس نے یہ فیصلہ دے دیا کہ وزیر اعظم بھی مسلمان ہونا چاہیے. میں نے جو بات کی تھی میں نے کہا تھا کہ فوج پہلے سے موجود تھی, اس لیے ایک جنرل کو جو پہلے برٹش آرمی کا تھا اس کو ہمارا آرمی چیف بنایا گیا. میں نے ایک مثال ایسی دی تھی, اس کا مقصد یہ ہے کہ ہماری فوج پہلے سے موجود تھی اور ملک ہم نے بعد میں بنایا اور قوم اب تک نہیں بن سکی.
سوری, ایک جسٹ کوئی کامنٹ, بڑا سمپلسٹک ہوتا ہے یہ کہنا کہ شیعہ سنی میں لڑائی نہیں ہے, سنی نہیں مارے, لیکن ان واقعات کا کیا کہیں گے جب پارٹیز, نام لے کے میں کہنا نہیں چاہتی لیکن پارٹیز نے خود قبول کیا ہے, اس کو بھی آپ لوگ ڈینائی کریں.
دیکھیں وہ شیعہ سنی نہیں ہے. اگر شیعہ سنی لڑائی خدا نہ خواستہ پاکستان میں ہو جائے تو پھر آپ کی جنگ میں کوئٹہ میں, دیر اسماعیل خان میں, کراچی میں آپ کی گلی کی جو نالیاں ہیں وہ سرخ ہو جائیں گی. یہ بحیثیت شیعہ سنی نہیں ہے, یہ 2 گروپ ہے, ایک کسی ملک سے پیسے لیتا ہے اور دوسرا دوسرے ملک سے لیتا ہے.
دیکھیں یہ طرح آپ ٹالرنس آپ بھی شو کریں, ٹالرنس آپ بعد میں ان سے بات کریں, یہ یہی ہے.
مجھے ان سے تو بات کرنی چاہیے لیکن ایکسپٹ نہیں کر لیں گے جب تک نہیں پرابلم کا حل نہیں ہوگا.
میں نے ان کا عبد جلیل صاحب نے بات کی اور میں نے ایک فکرہ کہا کہ آئی ڈس ایگری, میں نے اس کو ڈیبیٹ نہیں بنایا. آپ ڈس ایگری کریں, آپ کو حق ہے, لیکن ڈیبیٹ نہ کریں نا.
غلط وہ نہیں دیا کریں قوم کو, قوم بے وقوف نہیں ہے.
چلیں آپ کا نقطہ نظر ہے. نثار کھوڑو صاحب.
میں اب کیا کہوں, حافظ حسین احمد صاحب نے جو کہا میں اس کی کسی بات سے ڈس ایگری نہیں کر رہا, کیونکہ یہی چیزیں ہیں جو ایک سیاسی طور پر سیاسی ورکر محسوس کرتا ہے और कभी कभी तो ये लगता है कि यही वैसे नहीं है।
बहुत दफा लगता है।
इसी हम मसला हल करने की कोशिश कर रहे थे कि पाकिस्तान के मुख्तलिफ अदवार में हर 10 साला दौर में हमारी जो आमराना किस्म की हुकूमतें आईं, उन्होंने माशरे को क्या दिया है जिसकी हम मुखालफत कर रहे हैं। हमने अगर अयूब खान के मुखालफत में बोला तो उसके भी सोची समझी एक बात है, अगर ज़ियाउल-हक के मुकाबले में बोला तो सोची समझी बात है। ज़ियाउल-हक के साथ भी कुछ ऐसे लोग थे जो आज प्राइम मिनिस्टर बने बैठे हैं। बात वो नहीं है, हम बात कर रहे हैं उस निज़ाम की जिस निज़ाम ने अवाम को मसाइल हल करने से दूर रखा है, चाहे वो मजहबी तौर पर भी कहीं भी कमजोरी दिखाई देते हैं, लॉ एंड ऑर्डर के लिहाज से कमजोरी दिखाई देते हैं, पार्लियामेंट्री डिसीजंस में कमी दिखाई देते हैं, जेंडर डिस्क्रिमिनेशन में कमजोर दिखाई देते हैं। ये वो सारी चीजें जो सोसाइटी के इल्स हैं, जिसको अवाम को फैसला करने का हक होना चाहिए, उसकी डिनायल होने की वजह से हमारे अंदर फ्रस्ट्रेशंस हुई, डेप्रिवेशंस हुई और हमने कुछ इस तरह से महसूस किया कि हम शायद विड्रॉल सिम्टम के शिकार हो गए और हम कहने लगे जो आएगा बड़ा पावर वाला हम उसको सवाल कर लेंगे, हम उसको सलाम कर लेंगे, हम उसको ये करेंगे। मैं ये कह रहा हूं कि ऐसे लोगों के आने का उनको हक नहीं है। मैं जो बात कर रहा हूं इस आमराना निजाम की, उनको हक नहीं है, हक लोगों का है और वही बेहतर फैसला कर सकते हैं। जब हम कहते हैं कि जी एक कलेक्टिव विजडम हो, तो कलेक्टिव विजडम भी तो लोगों से ही आती है ना, और वो कलेक्टिव विजडम कहाँ आती है? वो असेंबली में आती है। अगर उनको मौका दिया जाएगा तो वो और फरोग पाएंगे, वो बेहतर रोल अदा कर सकेंगे। हो सकता है कमजोर हो अभी ज़हनों में, हो सकता है ओवर पावर न कर पा रहे हो इंटरनेशनल पॉलिटिक्स के, हमारी अपनी डेप्रिवेशंस, हमारी थर्ड वर्ल्ड कंट्री का स्टेटस, हमारे कर्जादार कहीं न कहीं हमें शायद थोड़ा सा कमजोर कर भी रहे होंगे, लेकिन इसका ये थोड़ी मतलब है कि हम अपना हक गिव अप करके किसी और को कहें कि उसका मालिक बन जाए। मैं सिर्फ ये बात कर रहा हूँ और मैं समझता हूँ कि जो काई साहब ने कहा हमारा आइन तो सॉरी सर, हाफिज साहब ने तो कहा तो हाफिज साहब ने कहा, यकीनन यही बातें, यही मुदल्लिल बातें, मैं उनके साथ ही एग्री कर रहा हूँ। और जमहूरियत में एतमाद रखो, इदारों में एतमाद रखो, यही अवाम की बेहतरी के लिए भी सोच सकते हैं। इनकी फिल्टर डाउन इम्पैक्ट भी हो सकता है, आज नहीं तो कल हो सकेगा, आज नहीं तो कल हो सकेगा।
दो अनाउंसमेंट, एक मैंने पहले की है कि कल जंग फोरम है खोरो साहब का 6:30 बजे, प्लीज जाकर क्वेश्चन कीजिएगा। दूसरा, मंडे को राइट ऑनरेबल टोनी बेन की मेमोरियल मीटिंग है नेक्स्ट डोर में, लेकिन प्लीज हमें ईमेल जरूर कीजिएगा वरना आपको एंट्री का प्रॉब्लम होगा उस दिन बहुत सारे लोग आ रहे हैं। ईमेल है हमारी TWS123@hotmail.co.uk, यहाँ लिखी हुई है नीचे, बिल्कुल नेक्स्ट डोर है, लेकिन उसमें सिर्फ ये है कि हम कोशिश, और नंबर 2 घंटे का है, तैयारी करके आइए और 2 घंटे खामोशी से बैठ जाइए, क्योंकि यही आपके ऊपर इम्तिहान है और यही हमारे ऊपर इम्तिहान होता है। मुझे पता है कि हमारे नौजवान जो हैं वो ज्यादा इंगेज इन चीजों में नहीं होते, तो वो बात करते रहते हैं। आप सबका, अकरम कायम खानी साहब, बैरिस्टर समीर अहमद साहब का, और जिन्होंने डिबेट में हिस्सा नहीं लिया उनका खास तौर पे, बट द लास्ट थैंक यू इज टू माय कफाले who only speaks English, Russian, Ethiopian, and he was sitting throughout the meeting. A big hand for Kifaya. Thank you.
Each other.